Hey guys, welcome to this next adventure with The Keep. I'm Lauren, the Dungeon Master, and thanks for tuning in today. I don't think we actually have a whole lot to announce before.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back! After a week-long break, Wes did a great one-shot, so if you haven't seen it yet, you definitely should. It's on our YouTube, at The Keep RPG. Definitely go check it out. I don't think we have any other announcements. We're not affiliated with Wizards of the Coast. This is all fan run. I'll be using Sirenscape for some of the music today. Let's go ahead and jump into the character videos.
Character videos!
The world around you is a page in a book, and everyone goes about their day-to-day business writing the stories of their lives. The way those stories intersect and interact fill the page with an epic tale. Now, a book is made of many pages, and each of those pages is a different world. Where the pages lay flat together, a bold character may jump from one page to another and enter a world both similar to and different from their own. The Sanctum, and others of its kind, make that jump safe and stable, and leave the door open for that character to return home. The Sanctum is an empathic entity, a sentient being that sustains itself by creating and growing these pathways between worlds. Its extraplanar hub and portals are anchored and guarded by keepers, and fed and sustained through the efforts of runners. It thrives off stories and songs, experiences and impressions unique to the worlds it can access. An isolated sanctum, unable to reach out and deprived of any interaction, withers to a fragment of its potential and ultimately shrivels to death. This is the situation our heroes have found themselves in. The sanctum is under attack, and in an effort to hide, Owen, the sanctum's partner and head keeper, has divided and scattered the journals that hold the sanctum's accumulated knowledge of other worlds, cutting it off from all outside interaction. Our heroes, runners of the sanctum, are tasked with finding and returning the lost journals to the sanctum's hub and restoring it to its full glory. But this task may not be as easy as they hope.
A blacksmith first and a fighter second. Doran Runheim hails from the dwarven citadel of Nidavellir in the Merkheim Mountains. A dwarf of simple pleasures, Doran enjoys smashing things with a hammer, drinking ale, and of course he can be found getting into trouble with his team. The only son of a small family, Doran learned to stand against condescending scions of larger families from an early age, which left him with a long-standing distrust of politics. After a tragic accident in a deep mining shaft, Doran resolved to be skilled enough to protect others, in addition to devoting himself to his family's heritage and craft to try and raise his family's status. In the advancement of that craft, Doran discovered an ability his family had thought lost, the ability to imbue normal items with extraordinary magics. As his family's fortune fell, he set off to spread his family's name and reputation, and to rediscover his heritage.
Raised just outside the elvish city of Tor Elm, the capital of the Wood Elves in the heart of the Mirthwood, Halberd thrived as the second of 4 children. They spent just as much time having adventures in the forest as they did in the city, and Halberd became very familiar with that terrain, especially when moving stealthily to sneak up on his siblings. As a young adult, Halberd and his brother both put their forestry skills to work in the military. They joined the Adskabak, an elite fighting force that worked to defend Mirthwood's borders from all monstrosities and invaders. Shortly after his acceptance into the Adzabak, the love of his life agreed to become his wife, and soon gave him 2 beautiful children. Halberd was blissful, but it would not last. His unit was transferred from their standard position to a distant posting. The group was ambushed, betrayed by their own people, and, except for Halberd, entirely wiped out. The sole survivor, Halberd returned to his home only to find devastation there too. A dragon of some kind had arrived and destroyed the town. Halbert's home was gone and his family was murdered. Seeking both answers and vengeance, Halbert bent his skills to infiltrating the government, sowing discord and confusion as he went. It didn't take much to turn elf against elf. As the city fell from within, the dragon returned to destroy it utterly. In his escape to the mountains, Halbert never saw the dragon's form, and thus turned his hate to all dragonkind. He wandered for nearly 200 years, utterly alone in exile, until he rescued a young displacer beast cub from a dragon's lair. Pitying the young orphan, Halbert adopted it and named it Nightbane, and the two traveled together for a few years before being invited into the sanctum.
The scion of one of the 12 ruling families of his people, Casator grew up as the elder of 2 children. A studious child at heart, he spent long days finding joy in the written word. It was during his studies that he discovered a truth his family had long sought to bury, that they were only relatively new to power and had gained it through somewhat underhanded means. Shocked at the obscuring of his family's history, Casator tried to bring it to light. His parents, and later his entire extended family, shut him down and censored him severely. Faced with this betrayal of his ideals, Casator decided to leave his homeland. In the midst of packing for his journey, he was interrupted by his younger sister, who begged him to allow her to join him. He turned her away on account of her youth, being only 13 years of age. However, he did agree to visit her each year, and in 5 years, on her 18th birthday, she would join him. The yearly visits passed, and the day came, but upon his return on her 18th birthday, Casator found that his sister had disappeared with no trace. Deeply saddened, Casator left his home for good, suspicious that his family knew more of his sister's disappearance than he would admit. Casator journeys now in search of knowledge. Knowledge is power after all, but only for those willing to use it. He quests to find that which is noble and true, and to share it with each culture he passes through, using song and story to influence the world for greater good.
Death is just a part of life, and few have spent more time in its company than Val. When you meet him, his intelligence and cunning are immediately obvious, as is his lack of strength. Born into the mountain tribe of the Kalashtar, his parents left him as a child in order to save his father from a pact with a chaotic deity. He was given to stay with his mother's tribe while his parents were away. However, his mother's people refused to train him as a druid due to his gender, as only females of the tribe were allowed to learn the druidic arts. As a young man, he chose to leave the tribe and explore the world searching for his parents. Unfortunately, not long after his departure, he was captured and taken as a slave by the Inspired, a nation of Dark Kalashtar bent on spreading their influence across all the planes of existence. After a few years, Val was able to escape through a planar gate into the Feywilds. Whilst there, he encountered the goddess Seanine. She took a liking to him and claimed him as her own. A few short months later, Tyrek, a cleric and keeper of the sanctum, recruited Val as a runner. Tyrek and his sister Liren trained Val as a cleric, and for 2 years, he served the sanctum. As a cleric, Val is used to taking care of his team, but his sojourns into the realm of death have made it difficult for him to make friends.
If you are a good and true follower of Bahamut, then the sight of the Arbiter and his shining shield will be one of comfort and relief. However, if your so-called faith is nothing more than a heresy for self-profit and position, then you should tremble in fear before the Arbiter and his judgment, and pray you do not meet his axe. Soyux was not always the Arbiter. In fact, his calling into the service of Bahamut took him from his family as an infant. Raised by elders in the cloisters of the grand city of Dragenthrone, the young brass dragon lived a sheltered life. As an acolyte, Soyux learned his lessons well, but his true passion was for physical training and the combative arts. He began to pursue the path of the paladin, taking oaths and dedicating his life in devotion to a more aggressive service of the Platinum Dragon. His plan for his life, however, was forever changed on his 16th birthday, when the Archpriest declares Soyux to be the Arbiter, Bahamut's chosen judge. There had not been an Arbiter in over a century, so his sudden appointment was not only a shock to Soyux, but to everyone else as well. Soyex's new duty would include examining the Church of Bahamut itself, rooting out heresy where he found it. Needless to say, Soyex was instantly isolated, removed from his friends, who he might one day have to judge, and held to a different standard than he was used to. He was not only taught how to fight efficiently, but was forced to study until he was able to perfectly recall the laws and sacraments of the Church. When his studies were completed, Soyex was sent out on his journey, intending to travel from church to shrine to temple and ensure the Platinum Dragon was being honored appropriately. He didn't make it very far at all before he crossed paths with the Sanctum, once again having his life changed in a way he never expected.
And welcome back. So the last time that we left the 11th hour, you had come to Farendale. We need music. Let's do that. Generally.
Some good music.
Alright. You had come to the village of Farendale on search for one of the journals to restore the Sanctum. You encountered it in the keeping of my goober player, of a young boy named Santir. You had tracked him down and had this interaction with him and Isra, the Naiad, who had been watching over this village, in exchange for a diamond with the potential to restore his sister. You exchange the diamond for the journal. You go and rest for the evening, intending in the morning to dispose of this undead malevolent spirit that has banished Isra from her home pond and complete the sort of deal that you had with the city. The next morning you manage to go to the pond. You find the Rusalka that had invaded. You dispatch her with great efficiency. Go back to town, and as you approach the temple, where Surai, one of Soyex's old childhood friends, had been installed as the local cleric, you feel this divine presence. Y'all are horrible people. You felt this divine presence, this warmth and strength surrounding the temple, and you get there to realize that Sarai's prayers for divine intervention have been answered, that they have taken this diamond that Val had traded for the journal, and somehow increased its value to make it a viable material component for the ritual needed to bring Xantir's sister back to life. The ritual takes place. It ends up being a success. You go to let Isra know of the good news for the town, and she has already felt the change for herself. She has left her little pocket dimension and managed to make her way back to her home. You find her there, and she rewards you with gold and a certain little carved puzzle that Halberd has claimed. And that's where we left off. You have gotten your treasure. You have gotten a little bit stronger. What would you like to do with the rest of the day?
I would like to find a bookstore.
Okay.
Because why not?
Oh, that's really, really good. Really, whoa!
Anyways, so you go ahead and start heading back to town.
Pardon me. I would like to just kind of hold back from the group and find like a giant tree or something like that, kind of out of place, and start just carving a little bit into the lower bark away.
Okay. There are a number of trees in this glade surrounding this larger pond. Most of the ones directly surrounding the pond are in they're sickened, they've shed their leaves. A little ways away, they start getting a little bit healthier, and a little bit stronger, and more probably more viable for what you're looking for. But you do manage to find some. You take a couple of moments on the while everybody else is heading on their way back to town to make your mark.
Go.
Heading back to town, Casator, you're looking for a bookstore. Go ahead and roll investigation.
Come on, don't fail the dice.
Is that a fourth level spell sword in it?
Yes.
Investigation is a 10.
Try.
Next round. Alright. You spend about 3 or 4 hours wandering the streets before you realize you've been wandering in circles. The closest that you find is the general store, which has a variety of papers and inks, and a couple like wilderness survival guides and a couple of recipe books.
Are there any little type of maybe golden books? Little golden books at the bookstore?
Not
Thank you.
not that you happen to notice. Odd music.
Stop playing your flute so loud. Casator.
Buy a music book.
I thought you were good.
No, he's good at the mouth harp.
I think that's the nose harp. Nose flute?
He's at the nose ring.
Oh, the nose flute?
No.
Oh no. You did it.
No.
Have it. Oh, I have it.
You would.
So you find the very, very small selection at the general store, but you're not able to really find anything apart from that.
Okay. I'll just go in and talk to the general store owner.
Alright. It is a human male who is running the store in there. Fairly plain clothes, dark hair pulled back into a low ponytail. Looks to be middle-aged, probably in his early 50s. What can I do for you?
Well, good morning, or afternoon. What time is it?
By this point, it's probably between 4 and 5 p.m.
I was wondering if you might help me in acquiring a couple of items. One, I don't know if you might have or might be able to point me in the right direction, but I was looking for a small book on Braille.
Braille. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that. Can you be a little bit more specific?
Something. It's a tactile reading method for the blind.
I don't believe I've heard of such a thing.
Maybe I haven't either. I was also wondering if you might carry a child-sized staff.
Well, we got adult sizes that can certainly be cut down.
That could work.
Right, see. Maybe about 2 silver pieces will get you a good staff, and I'll leave you to cutting it down for you here.
That would be wonderful.
So, alright, he takes you to his stash of very small supply of basic weapons here in the back. A number of staffs, a number of like fishing spears, a couple of different like trident-like tools used more for fishing, not necessarily as weapons.
It's a weird bookstore.
It's not a bookstore, it's a general store.
Oh, never mind. I'm not paying attention.
But he manages to select a relatively slender staff and gets it cut down to about half length. It's suitable for a child.
Excellent. I will rejoin the party.
Right. You go ahead and make your way back. While he was looking for various shops and wandering around town, what was everybody else doing?
I'm gonna go see if I can find Sarai.
Alright.
I'm going to look for Xanthir.
Alright. We'll start with Sarai and then head to Xanthir.
Real fast, just to clarify. Party funds, have they been divvied up already? Or has that happened yet because we just got the bag?
Yep, everything was divvied up. I divvied up all the gold.
Yep.
While we were there? All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you should have gotten your 200.
Yeah. Good deal. Just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
All the
Yep.
time.
Everybody's paid.
Now gonna get paid.
Alright, so you head back to the temple and find Sarai. I assume, are you going back to the temple?
That's would be the only place I would think to look.
Alright.
I would head back that way as well.
Alright, so both of you are heading back. Let me pull up.
I'm looking for the kid, so that's probably where he is.
Likely. That was the last place you saw him.
Yeah.
So the three of you head back to the temple. Celiax, are you heading back to the temple as well?
I'm going to go do some. I'll be at the temple, but I'm going to be doing my own meditation. So just finding a quiet spot and spending some time to myself.
Alright. You arrive back at the temple. And it's shortly afternoon, and this seems to be a busier time. There are more people moving in and out. There's one of the acolytes teaching a small class of what looks to be older kids, and Xanthir is actually sitting in on this class. The acolyte is instructing them, and they're sort of sitting in a semicircle in the courtyard, enjoying the nicer weather outside. We'll start with Val. If the sound will actually work. There we go.
Always.
Look at it, it's a temple.
I mean, yeah.
So you managed to find Sarai, and she is working in sort of one of the like a scriptorium area. There's paper, there's ink. She seems to be taking notes on something. And she's still just enthused. There's this. You know how you talk about people being so excited and so full of energy, like they're glowing almost. That same sort of effect on her. Like she has this energy around her, even though she's sitting still. You can see that she is just still very excited, very like she seems to be recording, muttering under her breath, getting down as many details as she can remember from what has just happened this morning.
Is there like an archway or a door? Is she in like an alcove?
An archway into the small room.
I'll come in and just.
Yes. Oh. Yes.
I don't know any smooth way to discuss this, but you had mentioned earlier that we would need to have words, and I'm not one to wait around for that.
Indeed. And she stands up as she walks towards you.
Am I looking up?
How tall are you?
Only 6 foot.
Oh, not looking up at her. She's
Okay.
not that tall. But she's
I'm
relatively.
used to looking up at him. So.
He's exceptionally tall. Sarai is fairly average height. So she walks over to you and gestures for you to come in. Please do come in and don't take this the wrong way. And then she slaps you across the face.
Oh dang!
No for that.
Are you going to try and resist it?
I'm. No.
Okay. So you just take it. You don't take any damage from it. She's not intending to hurt, but more to just sort of wake you up. That was a dirty trick you pulled on young Xanthir, and it is only by the grace of Bahamut that it succeeded at all.
As far as the boy is concerned, and as far, if we're speaking truthfully, I did not lie to the boy. I only told him what he asked, what he needed to know. Our intention was to come back and find a way to help him, not realizing that you would find a way yourself. I told him that That diamond was the type that we clerics do use in the rituals to bring back the dead. However, I never would have thought that one devoted to the Platinum Dragon would delve into such a ritual.
I admit it is not common. I am a specific student of, you might say, ancient magics. After Swinlix was chosen as the arbiter and parted from our group, it was, well, it seemed wise to look into things that had been lost to time, things that we just don't do. But you, I see your symbol. Your deity functions in this realm frequently. And you should have no excuse for your behavior for trying to cast something off that you knew would not work.
Once again, while I admit that the boy's naivete played into the part, the intention was not deception, but more pacification. When we found him, he was distraught. He was desperate. And I've seen too many desperate children make terrifying and terrible choices to allow him to continue down the path he was going. I don't know how much you know about our group and our organization, but we don't operate on just one world. We operate on many. And the keys to this world, or to this traveling, have been scattered across this, I hope, this continent, and now farther beyond. We've managed to recover half of the keys, and the boy had one of them. He was with
artifact. He tried to use that for.
Correct. And that what we had told him was that we would help his naiad friend get back to where she belonged, and we would give him something that he was looking for, rather than allowing him to trade the key to the Brotherhood. I'm not entirely sure of the Brotherhood, of who they are and what they are. I only know that anyone who seeks these keys, these relics, without, and I'll pull out my symbol, without being affiliated, I don't know that I could trust someone of that nature, or that we should trust someone of that nature. But the boy was not willing to let that book go without something in return. So I gave him the diamond. I told him exactly what it was. Now, did I assume that his naivete would play into it? Yes. But I assumed that it would pacify him until our return. Not that another cleric would seek divine intervention and step into a realm that she does not normally.
If you had been honest and upfront, I would not have had to. Go ahead and make a persuasion check for me.
There it is. It's like, where's the D20? Oh, that's not great. Oh, that's bad. That is so...
Alright.
That was bad.
You see...
Stupid negative markers.
You see before you, she sort of draws herself up, and her face gets very serious. your group, and I think you in particular, are lucky that Bahamut intervened and that this ritual was a success. It does seem like all is ending well. But I have concerns for you and your behavior and what you intend with my friend, and frankly, what you intend with these artifacts. You say that they are keys to travel, not just through this world, but through many others. That sort of power is not for any one person or group of people to control. There is no reason why I should trust you and your good intentions.
Is Doran, are you with me at this point, or did you wander off?
I'll hang out back because I need to talk to the kid.
Yeah, he's
So-
Okay.
So it's just you and
So,
Sarah.
okay, cool.
We'll get to what you're doing here in a minute.
He's got a big old grin on his face.
Yeah, I would have been laughing at that.
Right. These keys are not ours to own. They are actually artifacts of a entity, for lack of better words, that has attached itself to a multitude of worlds, a multitude of planes, and allows those under its care to travel back and forth. We, as runners, of which your friend is one, has, for the time being at least, agreed to be one of these runners, and has, as such, we take missions on different worlds that are asked of us in the hopes of doing some good. Whether it be lifting a curse, whether it be stopping bandits, or fending off a horde of demons bent on destruction. That is what we do. As for our good intentions, my intentions as of right now are to recover those lost books, reestablish the portals that take us back to this entity, and return home. For me, I was not born on this world. I don't believe several others of our group were born on this world either. We each have made sacrifices to be here. We were asked here to deal with a vampire, and in the meantime, as we are currently trapped here, help each other in the various things that we need to do. Solix needed to be here. We needed to find these books. In the meantime, we help. As for my good intentions, I don't promise that my intentions are good, but they're honest. My intentions are to get home. I came here to protect those books, and they were, through forces not entirely in my control, or not at all in my control, scattered across this world. I've done much and will do much to recover them. I could have taken the book from the boy through less amicable means, but I did not believe that that was the right thing to do. Instead, I gave him hope that Diamond could be used in conjunction with others to accomplish what he needed to do, without sacrificing a powerful artifact to a group that we know nothing about. I apologize that you were put in the position that you are. But in this realm, I'm not used to others delving into death quite the way that I do. And I'll give you that. That was a brave thing. Dangerous, reckless, but brave.
Do not feel brave at the moment. It was what my God asked. So what other could I do? I do thank you for your apology, or what it is worth. Have you anything else you wish to discuss?
The girl. You and I both know.
She is touched by the Bahamut.
Possibly more than touched. That was not a normal resurrection.
Is any resurrection normal?
Fair point, fair point. However, normally one does not see a child channel a deity without serious repercussions.
She is marked for greatness. I do not know yet what it means, but she's changed. Even in these few hours I have seen, she's not. She carries herself with more weight than she did. More confidence, power, assuredness. I will guard her as best I can.
Are you sure the touch, the indwelling of Bahamut has left her?
No. But she has had no further episodes. It is a marvelous gift. Bahamut called his arbiter. And now this sign of his power and presence. Truly, these times we live in are remarkable.
You are not mistaken. I hope, for her sake, that she grows well and safe, and that this touch of the divine does her well.
So hope we all. If you will excuse me, I do in fact need to finish this.
Thank you for your time and your honesty. And I'll turn and walk away.
Never mind. Howard, they were not being stealthy about this at all.
Nope.
Were you sticking around to just overhear this? Was there anything else you wanted to do?
I was going to go ask her advice on direction, but seeing as she just said that she had to get back to work, I'm going to respect that and head on out and find what I need to find by myself, possibly.
All right. We'll get to that in just a moment. Doran.
Oh god, it's my turn.
You are out in the courtyard. Xanti's class looks like it is finishing up. You've been waiting for 20 or 30 minutes at this point.
Really? No.
The class is winding up. You see they are released. Xantier gets up quickly and starts gathering his belongings and putting them in a satchel he carries at his side. He sees you and sort of waves at you.
Waving down, like, come here.
He comes over to you and, yes, is there something I can help you with, Master Dwarf?
Well, I'm thinking more that maybe I can help you. I know today's been a trying day, maybe an uncomfortable day, and the fellows I travel with, you know, they did their part to help you out. and I was hoping if you were interested, maybe I could help you out too.
I mean, it's been such a gift to get the mirror back. I don't know how I can express my gratitude. You look like you have something in mind, though?
Mm-hmm. You know, and I just, like, ushered him off somewhere as I'm talking, so you sit and talk. You had made a promise to her. You had said that you would do everything you could to protect her if you got her back.
And I will, yes.
I am one who knows martial way and how to fight. And if you, like, calm down, boy. If you listen, I'll gift you a weapon and teach you to use it. Okay, but you have to be serious, it's not a toy.
Of course not. Weapons are inherently dangerous. They are used best in the defense of those that we love. I'm familiar with the basic teachings. Yes.
Wonderful textbook answer. So, and Doran draws out the Dwarven Warhammer that he got back at the Sanctum forever ago, and he pulls out Korra's sword. Now, these two weapons are what you have an option. This hammer I got as, you could call it commission, from some people I was working for. It is Dwarven in design, it is sturdy. If you like to use this one, you can use any hammer. The sword was gifted to me by a friend who is not with us anymore, and I feel that as I'm not really one for swords, but I feel that you may have use of it, and maybe I was meant to pass it to you. So I will let you choose which one of these weapons that I teach you.
His eyes are just really big as he's looking at you.
Like Christmas, but dangerous.
Only Doran's beard were white.
Anyway.
Oh, Father Christmas.
Cheers.
He looks at you. Well, if you're to be my teacher, at least for a little bit, I think we should probably... I'll take lessons in a weapon you know how to use. He reaches... The hammer is...
Alright.
I think, yes, the hammer.
Then, at this point, it is... I forgot her name. Crap. Sarah. Is Sarah, in essence, like, kind of a guardian right now? Or who's in charge of the two of you right now?
Usually we live with my dad. He's on a fishing trip at the moment, and has been since we had the memorial for Rivera. So right now, she and I are going to stay here at the temple.
Okay. Well then, I want to make sure that we talk to Sarai and make sure that she's not too against the idea of learning weapons fighting. We want to make sure that, you know, you have permission to do so.
Oh, no, it's... Some of the older teens and the adults, they take lessons here for that. This is part of the training in well, especially for those who want to pursue temple work further and live this life. It's, I mean, we're a temple of Bahamut.
Sure. I've seen Khalid. I've traveled with him. He's a tough one.
He's, yeah, tough.
So smart.
He just pops up out of the bush and says,
Yeah.
Well, then I suppose it wouldn't be necessarily a problem. So, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and give you the hammer. And let's say tomorrow, I find my way back here and we start then. This way you have a chance to look over the weapon, sort of get accustomed to it and, you know, really look at it, you know, get an idea of it.
I can definitely do that.
Alright. You go and shake his hand. Yeah. This will be interesting. I don't know if I don't really remember having taught, but I think we can do this. You know, I want you to understand, like, The rest of the lads, you know, I don't know about all of their lives and their stories, but all of us have lost people, and I know you felt guilty. I've been there too. That's part of why I want to help you out. I'm a dwarf, and I don't know if you know much about what we do, but from where I'm from, most of us are blacksmiths, and when there's no smithing to be doing, we tend to find our way down into the mines, and we dig for the metal. And there was a trip we were on. There was 15 of us. It was me, my cousin Vaughan, and 13 of us. And we were down, we were having a great time. We were finding a lot of good quality materials. And on the third day, we had broken through a wall and found ourselves into a cavern that was just an open space. You know, there wasn't rock behind it. And it was a great find. There was gemstones down there too, as well as metal, and it was almost perfectly pure.
Like the diamonds.
I like the diamond. But we were only there for about 3 hours before the screams started. Like, we did not find a lucky spot. We'd broken into a nest of creatures called rust beasts, and they started, they did not like that we were there, and they started attacking, and I grabbed my cousin and I ran, and we were the only ones that survived. And the reason that's so bad is that I was the one in charge of that expedition, so I know what you're going through. But you can't blame yourself and live with that forever, because there are other forces involved that you cannot control. You have to learn to move past that, you know. And then, with what power you do have, that is what you use to protect those around you. Aye?
Aye.
Aye then.
This one. This kid's walking away with a Doran accent.
Yes! Influencing people. And so I guess he wraps the conversation up and makes the plan like, all right, this is the time, noonish, maybe, lunch, and then go. And then goes home or goes back to the tavern.
Not supposed to start on full color.
He's a dwarf, they can't have a meeting without eating.
As I'm walking out, would I see him finishing his conversation, or would he already be gone?
Actually, while you are walking through the temple towards the courtyard, you feel a little tug on your sleeve from behind you.
Oh.
And you look down a little behind you, and there is Vanera.
That's the little one we brought back.
Yes.
Well, hello there, little lady.
He wants to talk to you. Come with me.
Time out. Let's talk a little bit about who is he.
Immediately suspicious.
She turns and she looks back at you, and her eyes flash to a solid gold.
Yeah. Would I have any idea? Because I know this ain't natural.
You saw this happen earlier when she spoke with a resonant voice directly to Solyax. And it seemed very much as though he was receiving instruction from his god.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
That's a good word.
Yep.
Did
Did he
have
happen
we're all
to
gonna
say,
die already?
little miss, what he might have wanted?
The eyes are still solid gold.
Seeing as it's his house, I guess I'm going to go anyway.
And when she speaks to you, her voice is not the voice of a little girl. It is deeper, it is more resonant, it seems to fill the space around you.
It was nice knowing you.
And you hear...
You think my smites are bad?
You jerk.
Quite close.
Elves and gods, and what in the world is this place coming to?
You hear from sort of sourceless, but echoing in the space around you. Your challenge intrigued me.
All right. Intrigued me too. I'm rather challenged right now. Had to be dragons. Had to be dragons.
Your sacrifice seems not to cost much.
Not to cost much. Intriguing.
More of a relief, perhaps, to be rid of it.
No, maybe a lead that I've searched all my life for. It cost everything. Where do you want to talk?
Follow me. And the light fades, the presence seems to fade.
Deuces, y'all.
Vinegar is back at you. He says to come this way.
I kind of got
She
that.
grabs his hands, and she starts leading you outside the temple, in the back, towards the training grounds.
Is there anything different about her eyes? Aside from the fact that they were glowing, are they present? Do they realize? Or is she still very much blind but knows exactly where she's going?
Make a perception check.
I'll take it 25.
25. You do notice that she walks close to the wall. Her hand is down by her side and seems to be running along it with every step she takes. Not necessarily secure in her steps, but with faith that she knows the way, even if she can't see it.
Good enough for me.
She leads you through the hallways and out into an empty training yard in the back. You see there are dummies set up for various weapons work, but it is empty. There are not people training here at this moment. She leads you a little more hesitatingly once she's outside the temple itself. Her steps seem to falter a little bit, but she still moves forward into this large empty space.
Nope. I'm sorry. Don't kill me.
No, that's what I'm saying right now.
We do have a Bahamut menu.
There is nothing mini about that at all.
We actually have a Bahamut menu. You're screwed, dude. I thought that could character.
You know what? That would be intriguing.
If you're gonna go, anyway. Sorry. Good.
Right?
She turns towards you. There is a blast of wind in your face. It's warm. It's not threatening. It's not like it's more like the warmth of a fire, like a hearth. It is. It brings a scent of the woods, a little bit of campfire smoke, and a little bit of just memories that you associate with your home. Vanera sits down on the ground.
Guess you're staying here.
You see, what do you do at this point?
I just look around.
Alright.
I guess I've been holding my bow, so I'm just gonna set the bow and undo the sword belts as well, and the quiver, and just set it on the ground and walk away from it.
So you join her in this space?
Yeah.
Okay. As you approach, she looks up at you, and you see her eyes are golden again. You see that the wind seems to approach a more intense feeling. It blows stronger at your face as you approach her, and there's this weight to the air that settles over the space immediately surrounding her. And as you get close enough, you see faintly, in the air, traces of large wings coming up and sort of surrounding her and folding her, almost covering her, and creating this half circle. Like I said, you intrigue me. Your manner, though, is not entirely suitable. You walked into my house, my domain.
I was also invited in, and I meant no disrespect to you.
Choose your words with more care, perhaps. But I do think we have a common enemy.
I'm glad my quarrel is not with you, but I believe for a very long time it never has been. Of all dragon types, I've always had the most respect for the Platinum Dragon. And I understand that my demeanor has not always been welcoming. But the dragons have taken everything that I've called home and everything that I've loved. I apologize that at times I struggle to distinguish between which types, but I'm left with mystery as to what exactly or who took it all from me. And I will not lie to you. I know it is not you or your type, but there's quite a bit that I do not understand yet. So I do hold a great respect and a deep apologies to you and to your arbiter when we first met. But I am very much unknown. I've studied for 200 years, and this common enemy eludes my knowledge. I know it's a dragon, and I know nothing else. So if it is a common enemy, I would like very much to be able to perhaps take care of it for you, or with you. But I very much know you know far more than I do.
Make a persuasion check.
Straight up honesty. That's a 15. It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not that bad.
I was expecting negative.
Welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world.
There's a brief intensity to the weight around you. You feel it press down on you like the heat of the sun when you walk outside in the middle of August. And it's just welcome to Texas. That brief weight, and then it relents. I shall trust you meant no disrespect. Take care of the future, that your ire is turned to those who justly deserve it. The wind ceases. The presence seems to diminish, and the day seems a little bit darker, almost, like when the sun passes over the cloud, just the contrast. Vanera looks back up at you, and you see it is her now. And you see she had come to this spot, and she had sat down right here, because she picks up something that you hadn't seen before from the ground. It is a single arrow. He says I can give this to you.
Reach over. I'm going to look it over. What exactly do I see?
It's a fairly typical looking arrow, wooden shaft. The fletching is with some sort of feather, but you don't know right off the top of the bat. This isn't something typically used to fletch arrows. And the head of it, the point, looks to have something unusual about it. It's not stone, it's not metal, it's not something you have a whole lot of experience with. Make an intelligence check at advantage for me.
Oh, natural 20.
Oh.
Nice.
And a natural 1. So, investigation.
Just straight intelligence.
22.
22. That is good.
That's so
You do recognize this is not something that you have seen before, but you have come across some mention of it in your studies. This is an arrow of dragon slaying.
Oh. Right.
What exactly about this do I know aside from the name?
Alright. It is... I will read this out to you. It's a magic arrow meant to slay a particular kind of creature, in this case, a dragon. If you manage to successfully hit a dragon with this arrow, it takes, the creature has to make a saving throw, and then if it fails a saving throw, it takes extra damage. In this particular case, that is a DC 17 Constitution saving throw for an extra 60-10 damage.
Ooh.
6 die 10. Half as much if it succeeds on the save. I will have that piece of paper for you as soon as I grab it from my house, where I left it this morning. Vanera looks at you.
I'm quite bewildered right now.
The ancient bow is moving. Use it well.
I appreciate and do not take delight in your comments at all. But thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I just pass on the message.
I can see that, young one. How do you feel?
Well, no one's asked me that. I don't know. It felt like I was sleeping and then I woke up. But I still can't see unless he's using me. And then it gets dark again. But I really like it. There's a... I don't know, he helps me to be brave. And he says I'm important.
No, you've always been important, number one. And he understands that. But you can see at times.
Only when he's here. He's gone right now.
I don't think he was quite too happy with me.
It didn't sound like it. He sounded mad.
Yeah, I've gotten that before. But not from someone that big, so
Feels a little scary.
I always make sure you listen to him.
Oh, yes. Sarah says there used to be a word for what people call me. People who used to be like me. She says they're called oracles, and that I should stay and I should train. But I don't want to live here.
I don't think he's going to believe you. There are bonds of friendship and family that go far deeper, especially when forged by pain, death, or struggle. I don't think that's going to be something that you need to worry about, because no matter where you go, you two will always have a bond that other people can't understand or can't explain, no matter where you go. What you see, your face, because I think that you see the world more now than maybe you did before.
Sometimes things make sense, and then they don't.
I understand that very well.
I want to take a nap.
Shall we go back inside?
Can you take me to the door?
I will gladly escort you.
Thank you. And she puts her hand out in your general direction.
Take a hand and we'll go get my gear and strap it on and just calmly stroll. Maybe pull out a little bit of food from my pack and hand it to her as we walk.
She starts nodding on it. So yes, what have you been up to?
Dude, we're gonna need some ice for our butts.
I wanted to go find a quiet area in the temple where there were no other people. So once I found that, I will go and find a spot on the floor. And then I will take my shield and I will put it down, and I will put my axe down. And then I'll go through the entire lengthy process of taking off all my armor and putting all my armor down.
A very lengthy process.
Yes, this is quite an endeavor. And then I will pull out the bag of holding, and I will dump all its contents out next to this pile, essentially. Yes, it is. So there's now just, essentially a pile of stuff. And then I will sit down next to the pile, and I will say, you have recently, I have felt your strength within me grow, and at this point my devotion to you cannot be questioned or challenged. I am appreciative of the gifts you've given me, but as I know, nothing is free. This is all I have. Not all of it's exactly mine. There's a little pile there. Some of that belongs to my friends, but this is everything. There's not much left that I can give. So there's just crazy things that's been happening recently. And I do appreciate your guidance and everything, and you know at this point that my devotion to you is unwavering. But I felt the side effect that comes with this. So,
as you speak, you feel a warmth. Like like hands pressing down on your shoulders.
Just this is if you want any of this, you know, you can, it's yours, but I'm not sure. Things have a cost, and I was not prepared to pay this one. But there's an exchange that could happen. But if there's not, then this is my life, and I will continue on with the best that I can, for as long as you have deemed it willing to continue giving me your blessings.
Make a perception check for me.
That's a one.
Okay. You feel the warmth. You feel the warmth shift. Instead of pressing down on your shoulders, it's almost as though there's a hand over your heart and on top of your head. And it stays for just a moment. And then it's gone.
And the way I feel hasn't changed, that's the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, so be it. I guess we have more things to do. And I have people I need to talk to. So. Right, and I will begin picking up everything, putting it all back in the bag, all individual pieces of copper. It's a process.
You count it all up.
Putting all the armor back on, so I'm going to spend the next essentially hour just reassembling myself. And then when I put back together, I'm going to go find
Right. Pretty easy to do. Val, what have you done?
Well, after getting pimp slapped by the cleric, I'm gonna go. Right? Dude, seriously, I need some ice for this bud.
I need a drink.
I'm just gonna wander around the entrance of the temple and find a little bench to sit on and wait for everybody to get done with what they're doing so we can go sleep.
Okay. So in the courtyard, you're near the entrance to the temple.
So I walk out. Is there anybody else with you? Or you just chill by yourself? Somebody else with you? You guys are doing things.
I kind of need a recap on that timeline,
Okay.
please, because
So Kasator at this point is still out wandering town looking for the bookshop. This is probably about 15-20 minutes after you have finished up with Sarai. You are probably just giving Vanira the noms out of your pack and leaving her to you're inside the temple with her. Doran is at the tavern, having had his discussion with Xantier. Right? Didn't you say you were heading back to the tavern?
Wherever we were staying, I guess.
Okay, because you have been staying here at the temple.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to go talk to Alita, if that's why you
No, we're gonna find them.
Okay.
Get it, son!
It would have taken me about an hour for all this. So are you with Val, or are you...
I don't know. I guess if I found them,
You're probably with Val at this point. If you were in the courtyard with Xantier, and he had come out wandering through and then settled down by the gates to the temple.
how'd your conversation go? That's not the right one.
Just... No.
So we'll come out and find you too. Good, not Joe. You're also there. Wonderful. We need to get everybody together because need a refresher from you. When the Sanctum was attacked. What attack? Do you know?
Yes. Yes.
What was
It was.
I remember somebody had mentioned it. I don't know if it was you or Howard had mentioned what attacked it.
That would have been me.
It was you.
I don't have my notebook. If I remember correctly, it was devils, right? It was a lot of devils.
No, large part. There were other things that were.
Yeah, the other things are what I'm forgetting. It was.
Well, okay, so that's going. I'm not talking about what's around here, but what actually attacked.
Yeah, no, what was actually at the sanctum?
What attacked the sanctum?
Large devils. They seem to be led by humanoids. There were a few dragons involved.
Right. So when he tells me devils, my knowledge of the infernals and the hells and everything else, my knowledge of the great enemy. If I put that together, because I feel like I'm putting that together.
Maybe intelligence check at advantage.
If you roll a 1, I swear I'm going
You have to roll double ones.
Well, not great. I'm not too smart, but I'm 11.
You've had a trying day, man. You've had a very trying day.
Right.
I was going to say, the DC for that was 10.
Cool.
It was easy, because yes, there are a lot of things that you are putting together, various pieces from your training and your knowledge, and especially with what's been happening today,
Right.
that was very significant.
So, here's my thoughts. Give you a little bit of history, and then you find my answers. You told me devils have attacked the sanctum. What do you know of Tiamat?
Make a
What does
religion
it
check.
Oh, that's not terrible. Wait, religion? Oh, wait, religion's what I do! Yes! 21!
21. Yeah, you know quite a bit about Tiamat. You know that in the lore, she is portrayed as both sister and foil to Bahamut. Like two sides of a coin, good and evil, patron of the chromatic dragons. Let me pull up my little blurbs here. She is strongly associated with being the Queen of Evil Dragons. She is I will email this to you later, but essentially everything that Bahamut teaches, she teaches Boyle of. He teaches protection and compassion, and she teaches greed and selfishness. There is a long-standing feud between the two. You had heard that at some point she was trapped within the hells. And
this is all information I know.
Yes,
I'm
you
very
know
familiar
this. Very familiar with this.
I don't know much, but I know this.
I'm regurgitating all this information, and he's confirming.
I know I'm not there, but having studied dragons, is this something that I would also...
You'd be familiar with the lore, yes.
So, I'm not sure if you've heard, but during the ritual, Bahamut spoke to Sarai and myself via the little girl and said our great enemy was on the move. If devils have attacked the sanctum, Tiamat, being trapped in the furnace, the first layer of the hells, surrounded by devils, I feel like we are suddenly facing something very great.
We're gonna have to go up against a god, aren't we? This is what I'm just hearing.
No, I hope not. I think, though, we need to go find Cassitor, we need to go find Halford, we need to go find ale and food, and we need to have a very long conversation about everything we just discovered today, because Halford is a person who has a hatred for, essentially, me.
That's fair.
So, with that hatred comes knowledge, and Cassitor is someone who just studies, and so he may know
Knows
that
everything.
you and I are missing.
I need to start working on.
And you're about to get a whole dump of everything, my friend.
Yeah, I need to start improving all over here, don't I?
We're gonna need you.
Yeah.
It may be beyond your. Well,
We're gonna need a lot of ale. We're going to need a lot of ale.
We need to go find our friends.
I know a place.
So we will start
I like this place already.
our friends.
Okay.
All right.
We'll find Halberd, K-Store, and then
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
food and ale.
I believe Kisator said he was going shopping. I'll go find Halberd. Or you go find Halberd. You know the temple better than I. I'll go find Kisator and send you a message when we do. And we'll meet up at what tavern? Pick a tavern.
Shoot, I had it written down. I'm so sorry.
You want to hit that?
Nimblebird.
Yes.
All right. And I will message you when we get there.
Can you do that?
I can do that.
Okay, I didn't know if you were too tired from the fight.
I literally have one left.
Okay. Well, we'll just find
Two left,
find
sorry.
your person, and we'll go to the Nimblebird.
I'll tag along with
You go find K-Store. We'll track down Halberd. We'll go to the Nimblebird.
All right.
First person there gets table.
And a lot of ale.
This is going to be a night. Gonna go find Halberd.
I'm gonna go find Kisator.
Alright.
Kisator's like, somebody can find me! I want in on this!
It takes you a little bit. You do manage to find K-Store just as he is leaving the town store. It's about an hour and a half all told of wandering and trying to find it, but you managed to grab him and take him back to the Nimblebird. The rest of y'all head there. Nita is behind the bar again. And it's fairly quiet.
Is that a blush, Master Dwarf?
Excuse me, hold on. I'm
Got an itch?
Yeah.
Not that little. As it takes some time, you get situated in. You manage to nurse a couple months of ale. Nita brings you. Now, are you wanting to pay by the mug, or are you wanting to just keep it flowing?
Lance, I will put down 10 gold on the table and say, keep it going.
What time is it? Real fast, because I'm sorry, after that, I don't know if I'd quite just go to a tavern. I might be going on a walk with you.
Well, in our walk there, I'm going to download to you the connection I just made.
I don't know if I can
Process it.
be with the group. I'm just going to go walk down the street for a little while.
Okay, well, I'm going to, and our walk, I mean, I have to find you, then we have to find the tavern. So I'm going to explain everything to you and essentially say, hey, we as a group are going to discuss what is going on.
We need to all be on the same page.
Yes.
What does an oracle mean to you? Sorry.
Make a history check.
Man, I'm having a wonderful today.
Pick a different freaking die.
I don't have paper and...
That was a one. That was a good. I rolled an actual 3, so 4.
Let me give you the snitch.
Terror betrayed me.
Oh no! You know it's a term you've heard before. It was mentioned in one of your classes, one of your old history classes, when you were studying at Ironbound. You don't remember exactly what it is.
They're not common.
Oh no, there hasn't been an oracle for longer than there has been an oracle.
Okay, that was my thought. They are not. So, I know they channel people, generally deities, they speak. I'm going to be honest, the day that they were teaching about it, I wasn't paying attention. So, don't remember. They haven't been around for, so you know, the Elder thing hasn't been a thing for like a century. Can't tell you the last time there was an oracle. It's been a very long time. So, if there's a, who did you hear this time?
I met one.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Please don't get into slowly. You did what?
I met one. Or he met me.
He,
No, you're he.
That he, oh. Where is the temple? There was an oracle in the temple? Was it the girl? Her eyes. That makes sense.
Yes.
So she's actually, did she tell you that or did he tell you that?
She told me that he told her that.
Ooh, that's complicated. And so,
One's just brainstorming.
I owe you an apology, first
weapons,
and foremost.
Just...
I know I've been a total jerk. Please, just understand there's nothing really intentionally or deliberately aimed at you.
oh, it's okay, Albert. I fully understand.
Also,
Remember Rablock? Yeah, kind of hated him. Realize now that may have been a bad idea. So, I kind of understand where you're coming
no,
from.
I kind of wonder. I think,
Oh, shoot!
You don't know that.
I think that
Jay does this.
I think that there's a big deal with that. The ancient foe is moving. I know that.
Yes, right. So, Tiamat, Ancient Foe, Devils, I'm going to give you the background on all of that.
I'm walking down the street for a little ways, and you are welcome to join me. But I just basically got reprimanded by a god who's not my own.
The lad that mentioned.
I'm a little bit exhausted at the moment.
That's fine. So, you go do a walkabout. I'm going to go inside. Come back quickly because we have things to
Pay you a piece
discuss.
of gold. Get me a bottle of.
Don't worry, the party's taking care of this. We have party business to discuss.
It's this meeting.
What time is it? Is
Were
it?
you having this conversation before?
We were walking out.
I'm
Yes,
hastily
it's
exiting.
4:30 or 5.
D&D, time is flexible.
As I'm walking down the street, I'm not going to go too far out of the way. Are there any types of enchanting shops that look nice while I'm walking down the street or not?
Enchanting as in magic shops?
Yes.
No, you do not see any magic shops here in this area.
Perfectly fine.
Oh, he's already done. I was going to ask a question.
He hasn't actually come to the site yet.
No,
Well, when he comes back.
I'll be back in 30 minutes.
So now that we're actually all sitting at the table, Case goes with us, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Victor and Val have returned.
Case Store, I'm giving you the download on the connection between Tiamat and the devils, and how bad that is, and the sanctum, and everything evil, and pretty much everything that we just talked about that you were not there for, you now know.
And this, kids, is how you do
The
Lord
color
Elf.
spins and it just fades to black.
Yeah. Lots of montage of drinking and information.
I have a fancy napkin and jotting notes down for armor. and things.
So, yeah.
So the real question that I have at the moment is, how in all 9 hells did they find the sanctum?
So here's my thoughts. The sanctum has the ability to transport people via flames. Tiamat wants out. They collect powerful books that can open portals.
Right.
Tiamat wants out. She is
Trapped.
trapped.
What I'm following. What I'm more concerned about at the moment, and there's a train of thought to you,
Right.
is how did they find us?
I imagine, there's a two-part position that could go on with this. But first off, Bahamut operates, from what I've gathered in my research, very similar to what the Sanctum has done with us, to bring order into chaos and dispense something that is right and good into something that is bad. If Tiamat is diametrically opposed to Bahamut, things are going to stand out that actually start bearing that type of resemblance. So there's already something that's coming to the surface. So that is one possibility, that just basically anything good is going to be exposed. And if it is resemblance to an old foe, it will be researched into. And if that potentially offers the way out, that is going to be hit upon very strongly. We also... I don't know, it's a harsh thing to...
Now, question. You've been around much longer than any of us in the Sanctum.
Yes, good way.
Before myself, were there any followers of Bahamut in that Sanctum?
Not clerics or paladins or those officially in his priesthood, no.
Now, what about they deal with? They're not open in their. They're not open in their warships, quite obviously. So I'm not sure. So backtrack a little bit. I knew a guy back in Dragonstone who was a form of scale bearer, essentially. And he. So part of the big Church of Bahamut is we track down the small little like sects that worship Tiamat and we kill them all. That's kind of what we do. We find groups of people that worship Tiamat and we stop them from worshiping Tiamat mainly by killing them.
I can get behind this.
Fairly effective.
Did we just make like a paladin rogue ranger?
Right, exactly. It's a good combination. So with that, there is a part in Dragonstone that their job is to gather information and intelligence on Tiamat's moving about, and like the people that are, there's a whole, it's quite actually involved. Point is, a new Scarebearer, his job was to essentially go and try to infiltrate the Tiamat worshippers, and then help take them down. So he talked to me when I found out about it, he was like, oh, this is interesting. So he was an older individual. His name was Damien. That's right. It was Scarebearer Damien. He was an interesting individual, but he told me a lot about the ability to help you track down essentially the groups. So my question is, did anything, were there odd things from people coming into the temple or coming into the sanctum that popped off? Things like people, the multiple chromatic colors, wear multiple like chromatic colors. They would sometimes carry around different scales that's been gifted to them by different chromatic dragons. Trying to think what other things he said. There was a whole list of ways of like finding these groups of people. So in your time in section, do you think anything pops in your mind about with maybe bad feelings? You can read people fairly well. Did you get any bad feelings on people?
Make a
Well,
his history. We'll go with his history.
I don't like history. Ooh, that's good. I mean, I hate history, but that's still good. 22.
22. You don't recall anybody new coming in that had any of these things he's talking about. Y'all make a note. You and you were there for this. I think you were there for this. That may have just been Cortana.
Talking about in
That first discussion with Lyran.
That I know which one you're talking about. I think that was just me.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
Came to the medical bay?
Yes.
Then I was there, because I was always in the medical bay.
Not always.
Not always.
So, like, that's what I'm saying, the first time we got taken there or not?
No, this was when I came back.
That's fair.
I think it was when we came back. I don't
That's
think
all
that
right.
you were
Good. So
there.
nobody is alive that knows.
Good.
You remember we were talking about bringing in a group that there were going to be some new initiates brought in and invited to the sanctum that you have since put together this bunch of viewers. Before that, it had been a fair amount of time before anybody new had come in. There had been, over the last, since you were brought into the sanctum, there has been, and even before, but the whole time you've been in the sanctum, there has been a very slow increase in tension, in number of missions, in number of missions gone wrong. The difficulty of the missions, more groups have been ambushed, you've been shuffled around as cleric from group to group to group at an increasing rate.
Regurgitate.
So, but nothing, because my concern now is a worker of Tiamat. If they trade the sanctum, that's how they find out about it.
Oh yeah. On that note, real quick. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious, and maybe I should have asked this well before. Probably should have. Would there have been any type of affiliate which we might have possibly been around, which favored Tiamat based on identity or potentially any type of marking on their person, things like that, that would have stood out to someone such as myself with a fond distaste
Or who
for
was
dragon creatures
potentially-
that I might have
or
possibly
maybe-
been around on a
Dude,
regular
I think
basis.
Ryloth was bad.
You tell me, do you think
I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, well,
Yes,
so
I absolutely did.
well, so
That's me though. So
But I have the passive. I have a passive insight, at least at the time of knowing him. I had a passive insight of 14. Based off of just that, I mean, my interaction was he's weird, but I don't remember getting any like, yo, this guy's like he's ticking off all these.
also,
No.
don't recall asking.
Him up right. No, we didn't ask. That's why I asked you to shit about my passive insight.
With your passive insight, he was super weird.
Yeah, he was like he was just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super weird. Didn't seem evil.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity,
Yes.
when Tyr talked about the new initiates, did he tell me who or what they were?
Nope. You know, he was excited for bringing new people in. He thought it would be a relief to get just some backup and some fresh minds and bodies to sort of aid the sanctum with the increase of tension and difficulty.
Partially.
So, I think if we put everything we know together, obviously, someone got into the sanctum. Someone that I have not met. And
Well, you did make, but
Didn't realize.
I have a pretty high passive insight.
he follows the team like something quite deceptive.
Fair enough. My worry is that so far, so far as I've been able to tell, the only ones left alive are those of us here, the keepers on World, Rissa, and the few that got out like I did.
Right.
You stole them?
We travelled with a few other people who are not here right now. We had I don't know that he would be any sort of problem, but there was a little wobbling man who was with us. We don't know where he is.
There's Gribble. We did.
But I have heard of Gribble's tales.
He is legend. I mean,
I would have mentioned, we probably would have mentioned Gribble at least.
No, I'm thinking of in the sanctum.
Jira and Mira. You probably heard a thing or two.
Yeah. Gribble, the tales of Gribble the Goblin are widespread.
He was an interesting friend. Good roommate.
but he was one who was with us and who's not here right now. There was a Kenku?
Yes, Birda. It was Birda. Kenku.
You are quite familiar with Birda.
And we also travelled with, there was another dragonborn with us for a wee bit.
It was Ryloth.
And he was strange, but
he was white.
Was there, recalling him, was there any type of marking on him which might have, looking back, raised a flag?
He was scarred.
He was scarred. That was the biggest thing. There wasn't anything that you noticed that would say, "Hey, I'm a cultist as Tiamat."
He was scarred and slightly young.
Aside from attitude,
Personality.
he was a strange one, but
You said
still,
you
really
said sorcerer.
strange.
Yes. It was an odd. I mean, he was definitely odd, but
A powerful enough sorcerer could, especially one who had access to.
he was not. He joined the same time as we did.
And you have grown in power, so may have another.
Well, he could have been taken too.
Right, when he was with us, though, he was not tough. By now, if he
That's-
continued in that,
And one who
already
has had access to the sanctum.
When did he? He pursued the snake, did he not?
What?
What world did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was about to the sanctum, and then the first world that y'all went to, he disappeared on.
Okay, yeah.
I think that was the first mission.
Oh yeah, that was the snakes in the temple.
So he gains access to the sanctum.
Right.
Once you have been given access, unless it is taken away by the sanctum, you always have access. And a powerful enough sorcerer or demon or deity could trace back the magic of the necklace to the sanctum itself.
Is there any way we can find him?
I mean, it might
Because that's not a bad belief. Now,
and he could have been captured.
As a matter of fact,
in your journey, or in your time with the sanctum, how many Dragonborn have actually come through?
Not many.
45.
Because I mean, that's her normal free follow, so she is taken. So it doesn't have to be. I mean, there could have been a known, as far as we know, who a follower of Tiamat. But
we're gonna need a more experienced hand here. Give me a moment. I'm going to cast sending.
Alright, who are you sending to?
I'm going to send to Rissa.
Okay.
Who is probably the mole in her secret book room.
You know, okay, so if we had figured that out sooner and like actually had conversations with her, we could have avoided all of this.
Yeah, conversations.
Yeah.
Lengthy ones. You know.
Oh, not that.
So, no, you should have that.
No, his conversation was more than one. Do you have this book?
Thank you. Bye. So I'm going to sit down to cast sending and then remember that I don't have it prepared today. So tomorrow, we'll send a message to Rissa and see if we can get some advice.
I do think that perhaps we should sleep tonight. I mean, for myself, I'm very tired.
Yes.
It's been a taxing day. We have a lot to think about. So we do have rooms at the temple. We can go there, get some sleep.
No, I think I'm going to find a room somewhere else.
That's understandable.
Wait, the beastie. I've yet to make anything for him, but you were wanting either armor or a saddle, which is more preferable.
Whichever one you really prefer to make.
I mean, a saddle would be quicker. Armor would take more time, but I don't know how long we're going to be here.
I do have something I can do real
I
quick.
want to put the question in your mind.
I appreciate that. I'll get back to
Because if
you.
we're going to stay here for a while, we've got time to spare.
I mean, I do not believe that we should linger too long, but there's still much out there, and if this is pulling to an old enemy,
Information should be gathered.
we need, well, I'm also sure that I would not like to have these things which are opening portals free on a world that I'm not in control of, that I don't have my hands on at the moment.
Also, side note, we need to consider the Brotherhood did try to purchase this book. So at some
they're
point,
straight up evil.
well,
Tell us how you really feel.
so I mean,
I have the right to be wrong, but
we should really consider, are they? We need to find out if they're friends so we can trust them. I mean, enemies, we need to kill them, but we just avoid them entirely.
I feel like the first thing we need to do in the morning is make a to-do list.
Yes, I can agree with that. We have
But
a lot on our plate.
the first thing we need to do tonight is finish the sale and go get some rest.
I am definitely for that. So.
First thing in the morning, we can find out if Reuben is still in town. Reuben, the one who wanted to buy the book?
He's not expected in town for another 2 days.
Oh, not yet.
Ambush him.
Actually, again, to-do list.
Yes. So first thing tomorrow morning, we need to start talking about what we're going to.
And I believe I'm going to take a page out of Halbert's book and find a room here tonight.
well, you can do that too.
Oh, I promise that
Which one of you is the big spoon?
The taller one.
Which is?
I
am.
Right. We need to know for the fan art.
I want to see it.
I'm so scared directly in camera. I'm talking to you, internet.
Oh, I'm so glad I was not drinking anything at that point.
You know I'm just messing with you.
No, I want the fan art.
Well,
You're just messing.
No, I'm just...
I am going to head back to the temple and go to bed.
I'm going to head up to the barkeep and ask for the nearest room.
She takes a key from a hook off of her, hanging off of her belt. She unlatches the key and her friend Zadarin. We'll call it half price. 3 copper or 3 silver pieces.
I did get the cocoa.
Yeah. And y'all have drunk copious amounts of ale.
The $10 ale includes that's a lot.
This way.
I'm going to reach into my bag, pull out one of the candles with a little bit of the incense, and hand it to her and say, if you catch Dawn in a good mood.
And we kill Garrett.
She takes on your hand and Seska. And just to decide.
I got you, boo.
So you're staying at the Nimble Bird. How bird are you staying here also?
It depends on how I feel.
There's still
If you're staying, it's a different DC versus if you're trying to leave and go somewhere.
I was not intending to drink a ton, but I mean the woods definitely sound rather nice tonight, especially after the day I've had. How far away would the woods be?
20-30 walk.
You can make it.
I know, especially if not that.
Yes, just drape over that gate.
Basically. Yeah, why not? I've got a giant beastie.
Alright. Go ahead and make a constitution saving throw for me.
He's your,
Okay, so are you heading back to the temple or are you staying here at the Nimble Bird?
I am following you to the exact temple.
Now, for the record, while drinking, you were all within 10 feet of me.
So we get advantages on that?
Not advantage, it's a +4.
You get a +4 to your constitution.
The two are also viewing. Are you disease? You're immune to disease.
I am.
Anything with poison?
No.
Alright. Constitution saving throw from both of you.
Ooh.
You're staying here.
22.
You're staying?
I'm gonna go to the bar and try to.
Yeah,
Okay,
+4.
we'll get to that.
And we'll see what happens with stuff.
Not good.
Alright.
Sure.
Constitution saving throw. 10. It's a good thing you have Nightbane to help you.
How about just not drink well? That's the second time.
We're just like
I was also going to specify before we started that I'm not drinking a lot, but I failed to do that, so I drank a lot.
Yes, you did.
But it was
You realize how
scotch,
much you were
right?
drinking. We're a bit distracted by the conversation. There was a lot going
You were
on.
concerned with evil dragon
I
gods.
bet you had thirsty.
Cut to Nightbane walking through town, dragging Albert by his ankle.
Nightbane, I love you so much. You're the best. You're always there for me.
You're grateful for Nightbane's back.
Oh, yeah.
You're grateful for Nightbane's back. And you think you're right way around and you're talking to his head?
No.
You're not.
The tail reaches up and caresses his cheek.
Thank you, Star. Constitution saving throw was
19.
19. Your steps are a bit wobbly, but you managed to stay upright and mostly in control of yourself as you head back to the temple.
That's with my +4.
A short walking stick like a cane.
You say what?
I'm using a short walking stick I have like a cane.
Alright. And helping to balance yourself and keep yourself mostly in a straight line. So like 22? You managed to get back. You're helping to keep Kazator on track. You managed. Between the two of you, you're pretty good.
What am I saying?
I didn't roll
He is resistant to poison.
He is, so roll that with advantage.
15 plus. Where? 3 for Constitution.
Constitution.
Oh, I'm sorry.
+4 because you're next to me. The dwarf is fine.
The dwarf is totally fine.
It was like drinking water.
It's 25.
Yeah.
The dwarf is water.
she intentionally made yours just water so you wouldn't be wasted.
She needs
We gave George the water down.
See, and we've had conversations. If this was a different character, man, this would go different.
Story.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
So what is he going to do?
He goes up to the bar and he's hello, waves to Rita.
Oh, adorable.
Best soundtrack ever.
It's good. Dorian, what can I do for you?
Oh well, we're all heading our different ways to go get bed down for the night. But I had noticed that I had paid for one bottle and you gave me two, and I feel guilty if I don't pay you back.
Oh no, consider it a gift.
Oh really?
The pleasure of your company.
Oh, well dear, that's most kind.
It's not so much another boyfriend now. It was nice speaking with you.
All right. I don't mean.
Do it.
Do
it, you coward.
Don't be shy.
But if I had a cool Jamaican accent, you'd go for it.
Alright. Copyright issues, people.
Yeah.
Here's my sound effects. You're good.
Sorry.
Brain is broken now.
Yep.
You're welcome.
It was already broken.
Well, you seem to get lost for words. Let me give you a hand. If you like, I close up here in just over an hour. You're welcome to sit and keep me company here at the bar, and we'll spend a pleasant evening together after we pack up here, or you could go and head on up to your lonely cold room by yourself.
I love this.
No, yes, I would much like to have some company tonight. We've got a busy bunch of days ahead of ourselves. It would be nice to spend some time with someone.
Well then, would you like another drink, or you just up until the evening?
I think another drink would be fine.
So she gets you another more, and the next morning, Lauren comes and meets people a little bit later at her temple, where you all gather back together, and we are going to go ahead and take a break there.
You know what I forgot? Hi, Mom! So here's the deal. I was going to wait until we came back from break and be like, hey, we got to do this. Hi, Garrett's Mom! I was waiting for that.
Oh, man.
Nice.
We'll be back.
All right.
We'll see you in about 15 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that's funny.
Hello, goobers.
We're the goober side of the table.
And welcome back. So, jumping right back into the adventure.
Yes, we are good. We're good to jump in.
Yeah.
All right.
Full set.
Head first.
Next morning.
Okay.
Day is yours.
Cool.
Anybody has had the benefits of a long rest?
Oh, thank God.
Some more benefits than others.
Doran's got some extra inspiration. But his stamina looks a little low.
What would y'all like to do?
Sorry, Garrett's mom.
Point of order.
This is why I'm single now.
I am going to cast a, because there's only a spot for one level, so I'm going to cast a first level of Bane into the orb in the morning.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Your dreams are nice.
Oh, what that? Oh, God.
Just for clarification, it can store up to 5 levels of spells. And it has a 4th level spell, and it has room for a 1 first level spell. Yes?
Logically.
The way it breaks down?
Logically.
So that's what I'm going to attempt to do from my knowledge of in the morning.
Mark off that first level spell.
Yes. I'm the family head. Sorry.
You do, overnight, you do get the benefit of your rest. Your dreams are they seem to be mostly from your childhood, and you're a good portion of your training, both first as a sort of more typical paladin, and then after you are identified as the Arbiter. And it's this period of your life where you're in your training and you are almost reliving it. Where you're going through, you have these very vivid memories of your friendship that you developed with Elias and with Sarai, and with Kriv and your whole group there. And then your separation, and your loneliness, and the more intensive training that you went through as an Arbiter. By shortly before the time where you are sent off, where your training is complete, you wake up, rested, and the morning is before you.
And then I can cast that spell into it?
You mark off the spell slot.
It takes? Okay.
The energy is absorbed.
Okay.
Doesn't mean anything. Then we're not safe.
You have no idea about that.
I have no idea.
You're in the woods.
I am in the woods, and it's wonderful.
Yes.
Not knowing this thing and feeling fairly safe in this weird temple thing, actually I'm going to burn salt, but I'm going to attempt to then cast Bane out of it.
Alright.
So I want to try to release that energy out of it.
In your bedroom or in a training ground?
That doesn't matter. I started my morning prayers.
You attempt to release Bane from it. Nothing happens.
Okay.
Exciting new mysteries, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But so being attuned to it, I could tell what spell was in it when I got it.
Yeah.
So is that spell still the same?
The private sanctum?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now when I cast Bane into it, did I tell the spell that Bane was in there?
No.
Okay.
You could feel the drain of casting the spell. You felt the orb absorb it, but it didn't actually ping that there was an additional spell in there.
Okay, cool. Well then I will finish doing my normal preparations and go to meet up with everyone else and discuss what we're doing for the day.
I wanted to wake up early and just for a few hours before I meet everybody, just work on a very simple enchantment, the destruction process at least, to on the walking staff to do it with heroism, first level spell.
Okay. Let me pull out my notes. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me.
Hey. Family dice. Oh yeah. Plus 3, 21.
21. That is a success. You do manage to set the foundation for heroism to take into the staff. You set up the basic runes and the general. You set the stage for what's going to come after, for actually imbuing it with the enchantment. Anything else this morning?
As a matter of fact, yes. I'm going to try divination.
Alright.
So this is my first time ever casting this spell.
It is.
Alright. So divination, I'm going to cast it as a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And
what are you offering as the sacrifice?
The left eye of my enemies.
Oh. Never mind, you told me I couldn't pick that up. Never mind.
Well, it'll work. That's useless.
That's fair. I'm going to grab some of the incense out of my bag.
Okay.
And
yeah, do it that way.
The healer's kit.
Okay.
And I'm going to put them down and cast divination.
Okay. You go ahead and cast it. Over the course of the next 10 minutes, you set up this ritual space. You light the incense and everything. You set the healer's kit in the appropriate spot. And you feel a cool, sort of refreshing breeze.
Just make sure it doesn't have to be a yes or no question.
Nope, you ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. So something within the next 7 days. Within the next week.
Should we go after the third book next? Or pursue another goal? Truthful reply.
Truthful reply. It could be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen. Probably not going to be a rhyme. I'll leave those cases are.
Hoping for it.
Right?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I was actually expecting.
You're so nice.
A soft light in a rainbow of colors seems to come in through the window. The cool breeze intensifies a little bit. Swirls around you. You have your little Pocahontas moment. And then, swirling around you, it feeds off to the northeast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really hoping to get out of that one. Okay. You're not there. I'm going to follow that up with sending. I'm going to send to Rissa.
Okay.
It's Val. We are still trapped on world. We have 2 journals and location of 3rd. What am I at?
16.
Okay. Possible suspect in Sanctum attack. Four left.
Love you, bye.
No, that's his send off.
Oh, right.
Dragonborn's one word, right?
Yes.
Dragonborn sorcerer, Rylock, Tiamat.
Impressive.
Most impressive.
She was actually the thing. I didn't fail me. Thank you for that.
You get a response back. You're making me do all the thinking composing. Help me count words.
On it.
Awesome. Good to hear. Is your group safe? She's not done yet. I just have to think, and I think really slowly.
It's like Josh has
Helping
one.
I want to eventually find out what she says.
Take care of the journals. Return them and restore the portal as quick as you can. What am I at?
2 left.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Love to your mom.
Okay. That got dark quick.
Hail Hydra. No.
So clever.
Remember, you don't have to use all the words.
I know. Problem is...
She's literally in my head right now.
Contact Lyran?
Okay, nice.
Duh! Immediately next sending.
You put in all the spells first thing in the morning.
Yeah, no, not even pretending otherwise. Sorry, I had to mark off those. Next sending to Lyran. Yikes! Hey, don't throw things at my feet.
It's okay, just push it this way.
There you go.
Did you roll for the 5%?
I did not.
Roll for that real quick. And then do it for Lyran.
Oh, that's
I'm assuming they probably those there.
yeah, 52.
Alright, Arisa, Lyran.
67.
Good deal.
Okay. Oh man, was not expecting that. Crap. Lyran, it's Val.
Hi, Val.
Rissa told me contact you. Told me contact you.
Yep.
Okay. Where are you? Are you safe? Where I get left? Okay. Is Turek with you? Tell me how to get to you.
You say to you?
Yeah.
So tell me how to get.
Oh, okay. I miscounted my fingers.
Tell me how to get you?
Yes. I was watching your fingers. I guess I was one behind.
Alright.
Tell me how to get to.
Beep. Please insert 10 more cents for the next minute.
Next slot. You.
Alright. Val? They let me go. Have you heard from Turek? Remember Gamelin? Meet me there at the summer solstice. The Inn of the Winking Falcon.
I should write it down something.
Yeah! Note takers!
I wasn't there, remember?
Take the notes! I got the tech, you take the notes.
Gamelin?
Gamelin.
Whoosh.
Make a history check.
Nice. Oh wait, history. Crap, not as nice. 19.
Okay. Still good enough. You do remember Gamelin. It was one of the missions that Tira took you on when you were in training. Early days of Sanctum for you.
Nice.
It's pretty memorable because the city is divided into two parts. On either sides of a canyon, used to be united, and then there was some dispute, and the arcane users fell out with the divine magic users, thus the canyon. So,
Magic users, baby.
you know that they're fairly strict in their separation. Arcane users don't go onto the one side, divine users don't go onto the other side.
Oh, we're screwed.
You don't know where exactly the Inn of the Winking Falcon is. It's not one you're familiar with, but you know the city is full of heightened tensions.
Is Gamelin primarily... Now, is Gamelin self-divided, or is, like, it specifically geared towards one form of magic?
Gamelin is self-divided.
Okay. Make sure I
it's
understand.
all one city, one sort of city-state, essentially. They're technically one city that is, whole and unified-ish. There's one government that rules it. The conflicts within are kind of like the Gang War.
Fair enough. This is going to be fantastic. Okay.
It is always a good world.
Do I burn my last sending spell slot or not?
Your call.
Yeah, we're going to do it. I'm going to hate myself for this later. Last sending spell to Tyrek.
Okay.
Tyrek, it's Val. Talk to Rissa and Liren. Both are safe. Recovering journals. No, we're recovering journals. Sorry, I have another one there. We'll open portal. Is ASAP one word? We'll just say soon, then.
That's not something I would say.
No. Soon. What do I have left?
Yeah, 18 plays this out.
Okay. Where are you? Are you safe now?
Okay.
Roll to make right next.
$31.
Yeah, you're fine. You feel the spell connect. You get the same sensation when you talk and you make that connection. There's no response.
That's not good. Okay. I'm gonna go down and find my peeps.
Okay, so imagine we're all gathered together and doing the breakfast time. So while we're all sitting around breakfast,
I'm gonna regurgitate all the information.
Cool. Then
What is that information, Jay?
Now I have to remember it all. It's kind of freaking out a bit. First things first, this morning I sought direction of our next move, and Sandy's wisdom was that we should go after the next book next. Unfortunately, that book happens to be in the lair of a beholder. My suggestion would be that since this beholder tends to deal with humans on a at least consistent basis, if not regular, that we question those in the nearby town to find out as much information as we can before engaging in negotiations with this particular beholder. If my memory and experiences are correct, this is beyond us to just walk in and take it.
We meant to negotiate with a creature like this.
It's much better than the 5 of us trying to take it on ourselves.
So like slaughtering ego maybe are one of our better.
That's fair. I just didn't know.
No.
Okay.
These are creatures that are able to wield many kinds of magic, as well as cancel magic for those they look at.
Oh, that's not good.
Which would make the 2 magic casters absolutely useless.
As long as you stay out of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So our best bet is to, since it is willing to deal with other creatures, that we at least try negotiating first.
I can agree. I put some thought into what we should do. I have the beholder. I put down the brotherhood. I know Rubian's coming back tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
I think it'd be a good idea for us to talk to them, see if we can figure out for sure what they are. We did pass the fortress.
Would I pass that fortress when I was heading out to the... Okay.
Outside seated.
Right. So it's not directly on the way to the beholder, but yeah, you went that direction. And the death machine. Albert, have you filled him in on the death machine?
Yeah, I'm reckoning over a month's time period. We would have talked about everything on this world.
So there's also the death machines that we haven't fully tracked down.
Something that powerful enough to rip the soul and put it into an inanimate object.
That sounds like all your knowledge.
That's going to be not fun. Just out of curiosity, and I may have asked this question before, but I don't remember asking this question before, so if I did, I apologize. Is that a type of magic Val would at least have any experience with, or not really?
Only peripherally. From the descriptions, actually make a Arcana or Religion, you pick.
Oh, they're both good.
Pick the best.
They're the same.
Well, then just pick one.
Okay. Nice. And, 24.
That was Arcana?
Arcana.
Alright. That gives me the direction sort of thing you get from this. The connection you make there is from the way they describe it, it calls to mind witches and how they remove their soul and place it in an object. Now, granted, that's to grant themselves a type of immortality, and that is obviously not the case here. But you're very familiar with the fact that there is power released at death, and you can harness that, and you can use that if you know how. That's where necromancers get a lot of their energy and their power. Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave it at that for now.
That's, unfortunately, that sounds similar to dark necromancy, especially that practiced by liches, which is... Also, that is exactly what those of my order are meant to fight. So this could get interesting.
Oh, another point of note, and I'll pull up the orb of spell storing. So this thing we found a while ago, It does have the private sanctum spell that we had talked about, but in an attempt to, for my knowledge of it, I should be able to cast another spell into it to store. It didn't take it.
No, it took it.
Well,
It's a spell.
yeah, so it didn't. The spell's not in there. The spell was cast into it, but it's not. I can't cast out of it like I'm supposed to be able to.
Is it possible that you may have to cast them in order? Like you can only store one spell at a time.
Per my knowledge of this, it can hold up to 5 levels of spells. There's a 4th level spell in it. So it might be able to take one, it might not. But it seems.
Or do you have to be able to pour equal to full spell slots into it just to trigger the one so that you can actually call that one?
Honestly, from the way I was reading it, no.
We did decide to discern its nature by you spending time with it. We did not yet cast Identify on it to see if that tells us anything different.
If that,
I mean, would you like to do that?
I also think if we can't discern something with that, I'm interested in going to an enchanting shop, a magic shop, potentially, where they might have weaponry. So they might be able to identify it there if we're not able to figure it out here.
This is 5 levels. So, I mean, if you want to...
Well, the level of the spell is different from the quantity of the spell.
Right.
So it may be able to only take one spell up to a 5th level.
Possibly. I mean, do you want to... Does it take time, or can that something that can be done quickly?
I can do it in 10 minutes.
Okay,
well. While he's doing that, are you going to go ahead and start?
Yeah. He's doing it.
Okay.
All right.
While he's doing that, I also spoke with Rissa this morning.
Okay. Anything good?
She says to finish recovering the books, open the portal, and told me to contact Lyran. So I did.
Is it alright?
Who?
Rissa?
Concentrating on your spell, your ritual. Sorry.
Ask me later.
Please ask me later. I want to hear that.
I immediately contacted Lyran. She said Tyrek is not with her. She told me to meet her, but she was let go. She didn't say by who. And I'm not entirely sure that it was right to burn another spell slot right then and there before we discuss this.
She said she was let go?
Correct. And that we were to meet her on a world in a city that I'm familiar with, at an inn that I'm not, or a tavern that I'm not familiar with, on the solstice, if I remember that correctly.
Summer solstice.
Now, I'm assuming that she meant the summer solstice of that particular world. That Val may know how far away that is, but Jay doesn't.
Generally, when worlds are connected by the sanctum, they tend to line up in their seasons. At least close, if not exactly the same. It is late spring here.
Okay,
so
we don't have a lot of time.
Not a lot of time.
Which is coming fast. So,
I'll put that on the list as well.
And not to sound heartless or anything, but to be perfectly honest, my thought is that needs to take priority over anything else. Because right now, the sanctum is, at best case scenario, hibernating.
Right.
and hiding.
But without the, I mean, would you abandon those books on this floor to go to there?
We'll never be able to find her without the books. So books come first, then opening the portal, then getting to Lyra.
I would say as we...
And if we can find more about...
I would say the books should be a priority, but as we move, if we come across any more of these death machines of Brotherhood, we should pause for a moment and investigate. And I do think it would be a good idea to wait here for another day and talk to Ruben, because the Brotherhood right now is a massive question mark that I would like to solve. If we can trust them, I would like to be able to be using it. They could be very beneficial.
I made a promise to someone that kind of don't want to leave you.
No, I have no problem with that. At worst case scenario, the Brotherhood becomes beholder bait.
Right. I do feel like
That makes me so happy.
we have a conversation with Ruben that needs to happen. So we should be here tomorrow.
3 days max, and then we need to be moving.
Fine, that's fair.
I can agree with that. Alright, so I have the brother or the beholder, and some another book we're going to track down. Brotherhood, Death Machines, Possible Witches, and Devilon for the event. Are we missing any objectives?
Had to be liches. Had to be liches.
Liches, good stitches.
How's that or going there? This door?
Humna.
10 minutes later.
10 minutes later, you are done. The information you get describes this as an orbit of spell storing. It can hold up to 5 levels of spells in it. It has 4 levels of spells already occupied with a private sanctum that is sealed inside.
And you said that's like a fancier tiny hut?
Kind of, essentially.
Do you have detect good
Detect?
You make an area within range, magically secure, the area is a cube, that can be as small as 5 feet, as large as 100 feet on each side, lasts duration, and until you use an action to dismiss it, and then you decide what sort of security the spell provides for that cube. This is a spell that you have come across in your studies. You're familiar with it.
Okay.
Did you all... Because this is all new to me, I don't believe I was here for that conversation.
This is true, you were not ready for that.
Have we checked to make sure this is something that is good, or could it possibly be something evil?
I was wondering the same, even if potentially something could be hiding in here.
Well, my thought was, I know we had originally talked about keeping the private sanctum in there for a hideaway for us, but my thought is, since we have a little bit of time today, go ahead and expelling the sanctum and figuring out what is in there. And if nothing else, then I'll just store the ball up with some useful spells that I can precast, and then I can use my spells in combat for smiting and spit out the this or whatever else I need to.
I was actually thinking that we may need this particular spell for once we arrive at the Beholder Cave.
My concern with this is I'm not sure what's inside of this private sanctum, and I'm not sure. I feel that it may be another problem, as we will cast it in hopes of helping us, and I fear it may hurt us. And I don't want to be in the wrong place. This seems like a fairly safe place, and if it happens to we waste that spell, I would rather waste it than.
And I can create the tiny hut outside, which no creature nor spells can pass through.
I mean, it's all good points.
If I fully trusted the orb and the spell that was in it, then I would say yes, but because I don't, I would rather...
Do we have a way of detecting good and evil in this thing?
I'll detect good and evil only in relationships for fates,
it
things like
detects more people, there's no way of telling if it's...
Well, that's why I'm not the caster.
So... Here, I'll take it back from you. Because I am attuned to it. And... let's go deal with this.
We're dealing with that right now.
Celix, what kind of spell were you thinking of storing in there?
Oh, I have to look to see what I was feeling like preparing, especially, I was going to play with it a little bit to see if I could test multiple first levels versus one high level.
When you find out, let me know. It might be worth storing a healing spell, a mass healing spell in that. For someone other than myself to use.
Yes, might be. We will. It's not that quick. But we can check it out first. So, I will go outside.
Okay.
And
where are we, by the way?
Yeah, we're at the temple outside.
Let's head into it.
I didn't say where you were reconvened. I'll leave that up to y'all wherever you decide to.
I mean, I would have assumed that
Temple.
that was
Head
the
out to the woods, away from people, just in case there is something in there that we don't want to get out.
Yeah,
good point.
Let's put it away from some people.
Favorite area?
If it's some horrible thing, do you think your necklace can be used to capture it real quick if we really need it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm standing by, just waiting, just in case.
It's another ooze.
I really would not mind capturing an ooze and carrying it out around as an ace in the hole. I'm gonna drop that on somebody I don't like.
If it doesn't get dropped on our ace, we'll be fine.
Yeah, that's alright. I'm going to.
That was good.
Kind of be out of sight, out of mind when you go ahead and open this thing up. So, pass without trace on the lot of us.
Okay.
Yeah, sneaky. Just so when we're in the woods and then whenever he gets ready, I'm going to be hiding behind a tree.
Alright.
Just in case. With an arrow ready in case I don't like what I see.
Okay. So
To the woods.
you go out to the woods.
And I will release the spell.
You release the spell. Go ahead and release your
I'm
spell.
Does anybody else care to be stealth?
I'm good.
You know what?
I'll go ahead and stealth and cast flame arrows in my sword.
You took that spell. That is that spell. Nothing, just messing with you.
So what?
That was an aggressive roll.
That was also
Anybody else who wants to hide?
Still I roll for disadvantage because
Heavy armor, yes.
Okay.
But you get plus 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna like hide behind a closer tree.
I thought you were saying I'm gonna hide behind Albert.
Well, that's
you got more hit points than.
Hey, you didn't roll one.
Wow, well, that's 7.
Plus your stealth modifier.
Where is stealth on here? That's a 1.
So
18.
That's an 18 spell save.
You get loud. You got better than the ranger.
Well, I got a really
22.
Wait, you rolled a 2 and you got a 22.
Do you have
Oh,
reliable
yeah.
talent?
What?
Do you have reliable talent?
No, I just have a plus 2 to stealth.
Yeah.
And then plus the.
Yeah. Expertise. Right. That's
Very
right. Sorry.
good.
Okay then.
Well done.
I can hide and sneaky.
Yes, you are hidden to the best of your abilities. You
31.
31?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm like behind a tree, but close to where the
Yes, that's
camp house is.
Roll a 15 plus 6 plus your
10.
trace.
Yeah. Oh man, I love
Are
this
you hiding
spell.
now?
Nope.
Can I say I have a ready action to hit it with my axe?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Or not?
You're prepared in case something comes out.
Fair enough.
You cast the spell.
Yeah, I will cast one of Cannon's private sanctum out of the orb.
A 555 cube appears on the ground in front of you.
555 cube.
Foot. 5 foot by 5
Right,
foot.
it's a cube of gelatinous type or...
No. It is like the tiny hut. It is opaque. It doesn't glow. It doesn't luminesce, but it's a solid, sort of off-white color that you cannot see through.
So I didn't get to pick. It was already predetermined.
Predetermined.
I will pull out one of the javelins from the bag and sort of poke it into there.
It goes in.
Pull it back out.
It comes out.
Well,
Can I go try and put my hand on it? Do I go through?
You go through.
hold on.
You go in.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Some of us are not as cautious as you.
Right.
He has said it. He goes in. We'll hold on you for just a moment. What's everybody else doing?
I was going to go in.
Alright, you go in. The rest of y'all. You see
Holy
some
bros.
here through the cube.
I'm out.
Hmm?
It's a 5x5
Cube, 5 foot, 5 foot.
which means that not 2 people should be in there.
It's a
They both
tight
go
fit.
in.
It's a tight fit.
Get your tail out of my rear.
Perhaps one of us should go in with a rope around our waist and someone strong should wait outside?
I'm strong.
Or am I being overly cautious and we should all just jump?
I'm not trusting.
Wait, I'll hold the rope.
It's like, hey guys!
I don't like being left out, but I also don't think it's wise for all of us just to go in at this moment. I'll stick out here with you. Nightbane will be with us.
You said that's Doran?
Yeah.
Okay, I will. Should we take any precautions or should I just jump in?
Can you look? Is there a door? Can you look in?
It's just an opaque cube.
Okay.
Well, you want to say safe.
I'm gonna leave my hand out and try to stick my head in and see what I see and give a thumbs up or thumbs down, and once I get sucked in.
You do get sucked in.
Okay, I got sucked in.
Like a TARDIS. Because 3 of y'all should not be able to fit in space. Somehow they were on the inside. We'll get to what you see in just a moment. Dorian, Halbert.
This is how Lauren kills all 5.
She's already done that. Been there, done that.
Primeval awareness.
Okay.
1 minute. I want, because I'm used to sensing a Dragonborn and a Fae ancestry that I'm used to.
Right.
Do I sense them here?
Nope.
I thought so. We got some range jumpers. They're not here.
Alright. What do you want to do?
My interactions has been, we rise as a team and we fall as a team.
Alright. For a copper and for a gold.
Fantasy Geronimo!
So you head on in.
Oh. But I don't like it.
I realize if this is combat, you just left us on our own. Appreciate it, guys.
For an entire minute, he had a head
Yeah, I did. I didn't hear any screams. I didn't hear any fights. I'm gonna take out a piece of paper and write a fast note.
Concern.
This is Sarai and Wood. So if anyone, attention to anyone who finds this, please hand to Sarai at Bahamut's temple. The 11th hour is attempting a potentially fatal error.
We did it dumb.
If we don't return, Solix loves you. Bahamut rocks. And maybe please try to help us out. There's some sort of like weird opaque house thing, and that's literally all I know.
So rather than a note, he writes a scroll.
That's not much. I'm just gonna tag it on. I can write fast. I'll just go ahead and hop on Nightbane.
To a tree.
He and I are gonna walk
You
in.
should have ride Nightbane in.
You ride Nightbane in. You emerge to see your companions. Having entered into space before you. The two of you.
Oh crap.
Have to make sure.
Oh crap.
Make sure it's right up.
I saw a light with lines on it.
You emerge into what looks to be a large stone room. There are pews and an altar at the front. There's stained glass windows coming down with light shining in bright colors, landing on the floor. Everything is a rainbow of light. There are runes on the walls inscribed into the stonework. between the windows. I need everybody who's come in to make wisdom saving throws.
We're all together now? Or is it just them, right?
I'm having everybody do it at once. They're the only ones in right
So
now.
within
Wisdom
10 feet of me, right?
Great.
Yes.
But I mean, as they come in, or
We'll
no?
deal with that in a minute. It depends on what you do.
Wisdom by itself. 17 total.
Okay.
0.4.
Okay. 11.
15.
And?
28.
Okay. The two of you are the only two who are not compelled to speak the truth while you are in this room.
Okay. My question is, you know, if they come in within 10 feet of me, when they enter, they get a +4.
Okay.
So when they
That depends
enter,
on what you do. Right now, you the two
Right, we don't know they're coming in.
right.
You don't know whether they're coming in. You don't know the time frame or if there's.
So, looking.
No. This is as you enter the room. As soon as you come in.
Would either of us recognize the rooms?
Probably yes. These are the runes and symbols that are used for a classic zone of truth. Normally, it is contained within a certain radius. These are modified to encompass the entirety of this chamber.
Now the altar though, what is that? Do we recognize what that is? What's going on with it?
It does not seem to be designated for any particular deity. More of just a multi-purpose.
Is it just one massive room? Are there doors leading off other places?
Make a perception check.
You said runes. Would I recognize them?
You're not
Modified 20.
identified yet.
Okay.
Modified 20? You do see there are no doors. There are 3 stained glass windows on either side and one behind the altar. The ones that run alongside the chambers have the light shining in, and there are various scenes. There's one that is a beautiful, elaborately designed library, books and like multi-tiers. There's one that is a desert, shifting sands, and you can almost feel the heat coming off of it. It's very realistic. There is a grassland area where it's just plains and rolling hills, sort of scrubby bushes. There's one that's a beautiful ocean side, just a beach. You can almost hear the sound of the waves rolling in. There's one that looks like a sort of a zoo or menagerie. There's a wide variety of animals and creatures sort of surrounding and encompassing this space represented here. And there's one that seems to that's was that 5 or was that 6?
I think that's right.
Right.
There was the
library,
the desert, there's grasslands,
the
beach, and the animals.
Right. Grasslands, beach. And these are the going counterclockwise. Making sure I'm telling them.
So starting on the right.
Stained glass windows?
Right. The last one is a series of runes and symbols. You've spent enough time around arcane users to get a sense that this has something to do with arcane magic.
Silius, do you happen to have a symbol of Bahamut on you?
Yes. Shield? The library, desert, grasslands. And then behind the altar was the ocean, right?
Right.
And then animals. And what was the other one after animals?
The arcane symbols.
Okay. But so these are the truth symbols, right? These are the zone
These are not the zone of truth symbols. The zone of truth symbols are inscribed
Oh.
into the walls between each of
Okay.
the stained glass.
So I don't know what these are. I just know them as arcane.
Right.
Okay.
Library, grassland, desert, animals, arcane symbols, and beach.
So,
Fishy fish.
so Lauren, just see if I got this right. So we're essentially standing here. Library, desert, grassland, ocean behind the altar.
No, skip that down one.
Okay, so ocean, animals, arcane symbols.
Right.
Nothing on the because there's a glass.
There's stained glass behind the altar. It's not backlit. These are the ones that have the
Got
light
it.
shining through. These are the more obvious ones.
Okay.
Moving on, because the one behind the altar is a scene of stars and sun and moon. It's a sort of skyscape, but very figurative. Not in any sort of literal sense.
Like a stylized skybox in a video game.
Skybox?
Big sky.
Sort of ish. More cartoony than that. Sure, go with that.
I'm gonna go touch the grassland.
Alright. Kisator, about this point, you do come in. You do see Celiax go and touch the grassland. Stained glass that is this beautiful piece. And then he disappears.
Was that what of him when he showed up between, like, how big is this room?
It's a large room. Think cathedral.
Okay, so he would
You would have only made mine 15 anyway, so.
Okay, so now I just pierce the grassland.
Oh, John, never to be heard of again.
Looking around, when I see the arcane runes, do I recognize them?
You would actually, I'm not even going to make you roll for this, you would be familiar with the different symbols for each of the schools of magic.
Nice. Did I notice Celiax get sucked through a portal?
What's your
I'm not quite.
Yeah. Heavy armor, working on the ground, he wasn't being stealthy. Yeah, you would know.
Casey, Celiax went through a window, and then I'm gonna run, pulling off my shield kind of like in front of me, dive through the window.
Alright, you go. As soon as you make contact with the window, you disappear.
I was waiting for the you go nowhere.
That would have been hilarious.
It breaks the glass.
So the room is empty except for these stained glass windows and the altar.
There are pews set up like a cathedral also.
I will approach the altar.
Okay.
Just, like, take a look at it.
Okay. It's a fairly traditional altar. As you're looking it over, go ahead and make an investigation roll. And as you're taking the time to investigate it, we'll go ahead and we'll say Doran and Halberd, writing Nightbane. Go ahead and enter this also. 10? Yeah, it's an altar. There's some scroll work and some gentle design carved into it, but it doesn't seem to be anything arcane or specific to any deity.
Oi, where are the other two?
Up to the other two. Celiax and Val touched the grassland?
Yep.
Right, the grassland painted window, and both disappeared. I was waiting for y'all.
Probably the largest man.
Looking behind me, as we came in, is there an exit point to get back out from where we came in?
There is not.
We're in America.
Cool. Any type of chest or anything like that inside this room that I would just notice? Do I recognize any type of elvish symbols?
You don't. Are you proficient in religion?
don't think so. No.
Arcana?
I'm not. No, I'm not that kind of person.
No, not so much. So no, nothing you recognize immediately off the bat.
I like how they're worried about our well-being.
Alright, if you're gonna play the idiot, you're gonna get treated like the idiot. Like,
what do you expect?
Hey guys, let's just run through a window.
I learned that too.
Dilly-dilly.
I went after Solyax.
He's the tank.
I'm gonna pop out.
I'm more of a tank than he is at this point.
Do I recognize?
I'm gonna pop out Jojo, who I believe is in lizard form right now.
I believe that's correct.
It's gonna be weird, but I'm gonna have him crawl up the wall onto the arcane symbols and see what happens.
Okay. Like actually, onto the glass with the different symbols?
Yes.
Okay. He touches the glass and poof, he's gone.
Can I communicate with him?
Nope.
Can I prove him?
Try.
I try.
Nope.
Grabbing hat. Well, I'll tell you what. We follow our companions.
Just all the
We follow the companions, but we're all going to be
The
touching when we touch the window. We all do it at the same time. Do I recognize any other things? Symbols, language?
You mean the human ones or the lizards?
Well, I believe he went on the same one our fellow human ones did, right?
No, he went on the arcane symbols. Our fellow humans went through the grasslands.
I believe that he has...
Not at the moment.
He can come back, I believe, easier than our fellow compatriots, so I'm going to say the other ones.
So really wants to go get you.
Let's go, Kate.
We're just telling the truth right now, too. Who do I like more?
You can choose not to speak in his own truth.
No, I know.
You're not compelled to speak, but when you do speak, you are compelled to truth.
I really don't want
to
be here. I understand.
All right.
Rejection noted. Let's go. So we're all gonna. I will hop on. Like y'all start. Let's put a hand on Nightbane. Yeah. And have Nightbane reach out a tentacle and touch the grassland. Before that happened, no, did I recognize giant runes or anything? Nothing. No.
You're proficient in religion or arcana?
No. Super dark. All right.
Nothing in particular.
I'm starting to learn how to magic. A little bit. I don't like this place. I don't like this at all.
I like the potential of this place.
Let's go. This is a daggone maze. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, y'all.
Alright, so you head to the grasslands. You emerge into the grasslands. Are y'all gonna... Never mind, we'll get there. The two of you who have gone through relatively first. You emerge into this grassland, and it feels like a wide open plain. You feel the wind, there's the sun shining in the sky, beating down on you. It is moderately warm, comfortable. You smell the earth and the far-off scent of animals of some kind. You hear people. It's not a language you're familiar with, or at least you're not close enough to make out any distinguishing sounds. But there's definitely something here.
There's nothing behind us, right? So it's just in the field.
Just in the field.
So that 5x5 cube isn't behind us.
It's like that scene from Doctor Strange, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, no, that's what I was supposed to Plains jumper. Would I recognize what just happened?
Oh, that you're going through multiple little planes? Little pocket dimensions? Oh, yeah.
I assume I would recognize that as well.
Probably. Y'all have all experienced this fairly recently. The sensation that you get traveling through these is extremely reminiscent of the sensation you got when you went to the little pocket dimension that you first met Isra in.
I just turned to Sonya. You had to touch. You always have to touch.
Technically, you went in first.
No, actually, well, yeah. No, he touched it first. Technically, he touched it first with the spear.
Right.
I got sucked in first. We should have known. We should have known.
really just tie somebody's up.
Val is not Nash.
So it's just a grassland. Nothing, just as far as we can see.
I mean, rolling hills. It's not just flat.
And there's no like portal thing behind us.
No portal thing behind you. We'll say about this point you are joined by your fellow compatriots.
Hello.
Touch him.
No, you're not in the zone of truth anymore.
Oh, tag, you're it.
Whoa.
So these aren't connected, so I don't feel compelled to tell the truth.
You do not feel compelled to tell the truth.
Alright.
I feel compelled to tell you this is not great. We're not, and I don't like it.
These aren't the same dimensions. Fantastic. It's not many dimensions inside one dimension. Also fantastic.
Do any of us understand the voices?
Y'all are too far away to really make out any particular words or sounds. You just hear voices.
What direction are they coming from?
Just gonna see.
Make a survival check.
Dilly.
That's not terrible. Survival? It's an 18.
Yeah, you can pinpoint the direction it's coming from pretty clearly. A relatively westerly direction.
Can I just ask real fast, because I feel like I'm just getting brought up to speed. Where the crap did you get this thing?
This was Israel gave it to us, right?
No.
No. This was something that someone paid us to take.
Oh!
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right.
That's right. Yes. I forgot. I thought we got this from Israel.
I was like, why are you so fascinated? And we were paid today. It makes sense now. You didn't forget about that part.
I straight up thought we got this from Israel. I forgot we got paid gold to take this thing.
Crap.
Oh,
So basically, we had stuff we were going to do. We had a whole day, and then we gave ourselves a really annoying side quest.
all right. So I straight up thought that was from Israel, like I did.
Alright.
That's my vibe.
I think our first order of business, go find the source of the voices and find out where in all of creation we are.
We're not.
It's not the only solution.
I suck at perception, but do I see a portal around me?
Casey, can you summon your little friend?
About that, he might be stuck in a different fucking dimension right now.
All I do is win.
The dwarf just.
What was your
I can summon him if you give me an hour.
You don't seem to say what you're doing.
Kind of figured.
We might find him somewhere along the way. I'm hoping.
Honestly, yeah. Let's just go in the direction of the voices.
Listen to the voices in somebody else's head.
Let's go in that direction and see where we are.
Yeah.
The brave adventurers never heard of it.
I'm having flashbacks to your one shot, Wes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright. Let's start following. There's nothing in the ground, like no magic symbols or arcane symbols in the ground. Okay.
It's like normal grass. Fairly tall. It's about knee high for you. Not quite knee high.
So
yeah,
here.
No, I mean you're more like waist high. It'll probably be easier to walk through if someone walks in front of you.
You want to hop on my thing?
Or I'll do that, sure.
Let's just start walking, because we head in that direction.
Alright.
The one's on night thing, y'all.
Pretty mountain over the hill. And there is a sort of very shallow valley that spreads out before you. And you can see on the far end of the valley is a little village. And it is a little village. As you approach, you see these figures who are moving and bustling and taking care of some sort of livestock, tucking in and out of different buildings and what looks like barns almost.
Are there wolves?
Out of woven thatch. There are no wolves.
These are the village people.
These are this is a village of halflings. Do any of you speak halfling?
Halfling.
Man, I missed on here. Hey? Oh, I missed on here.
Oh dear.
No.
Nope.
I can summon her.
Hold on to that one.
Hold on to that. Don't knock yourself over.
Yeah, I'll call Henry real quick.
Let's summon.
Do you think it might be beneficial to not bring out Nightbane around a whole bunch of little people?
I mean,
Find that offensive, sir.
You're a tall
That's
person. You're a slightly taller little person.
Yeah, I don't count you as tall.
As y'all come over the hill and approach, you do see a number of the halflings start scurrying around, and a crowd starts to form.
Around us or in front of us? And are they
Well,
holding
y'all are still approaching. It's not.
pitchforks?
I will walk forward confidently and say, hello! Hello, all of you. Does anybody here speak common?
You hear them sort of mutter to each other, and it's the language you don't understand.
I can see what's happening. And I don't have a clue.
Nice. Eventually, old male halfling, carried in a little chair by four other younger, like strapping young halfling.
I think he's important.
Believe it.
Starts to meout. And he says, "Speak you in our language?"
No. But, let's see here. Do you speak? And I will say abyssal and abyssal.
Oh god.
I will say draconic. I will say infernal.
You start going through these and listing them off, and there's little chatters and little chatters.
Anything, if you, I mean, you obviously speak common. How good are you at common then?
Case Tor, do you speak anything else? I'll start speaking something, maybe he'll pick up.
Giant uncommon.
Because it's like spitting different languages at him.
You start babbling in all of the different languages that you know. Does anyone know halfling?
No.
Okay.
We had one halfling.
Nothing really seems to make that connection.
Glorious. Okay. Low, small words. Where are we?
In village. Yes.
Good. Any other village? Any other more?
Oh, you travel. Yes.
Yes. Next town, new village, old, new, you, other, this, that.
Oh, yes, maybe someone else should speak.
Shut up.
Okay.
You travel. Librarian. Yes.
Where?
Say what? Huh?
Where is librarian?
I believe I can make this a little easier on us. So I forgot about a spell that I had prepared because I didn't know what was going to happen with the guy. It's called Tongues.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, did I have that one prepared? No, I didn't have that one prepared. And then, yeah, I totally. So how does this work?
I'm over here babbling like an idiot.
And I love it.
I know, right?
You guys, the creature you touch, the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says.
Cool. Give me 15 seconds because apparently we froze.
Okay.
So hold that thought.
We are holding.
Now.
Alright, are we back? Maybe. And we're back. Alright guys, sorry for the tech issues. We will go ahead and we will jump back into this. You were attempting to communicate with the old, important looking halfling that has been carried out in the chair here.
And I'm going to reach out and cast Tongues.
Without having said anything about doing that.
On who?
The old halfling person.
Okay.
Or actually, no, on me.
Okay.
Because any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says.
Okay. So you cast it on yourself.
I don't have to ask my permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true. What do you say?
Can you understand me now?
Oh, much better, yes.
We can't understand him.
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Cool. Just wanted to double check.
You hear gobbledygook coming out of his mouth, directed at Val.
Yeah.
But you understand what Val is saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to ask this, but where are we?
You are here in our village. Welcome.
Does this village have a name?
No, it's just our village. It's our home. We serve our purpose and we serve the librarian.
Ah, the librarian. Shouldn't know that would have got Caisator's attention. Can you take us to the librarian?
Oh no, you don't leave. He come here.
From which direction does he come?
Oh, depends on day. Yes, does depend. We summon him for you?
They are offering to summon the librarian for us. This village doesn't have a name, and it has one purpose.
What's his name? Also that time frame?
The librarian.
Hard to tell. There's
I
light.
have a
You
feeling
don't
it's
actually
the
see the sun.
librarian.
Also,
Great.
I know Luca.
what purpose is the village here for?
To serve the librarian.
And are there other people who live around here?
Okay. Are there others who live around here?
No, just us.
Cool. Yeah, let's do this.
Please summon the librarian for us.
We'll go. We summon librarian. And he sends two of the younger halflings off, and they run up, and a very short time later, you hear a deep
Oh God.
sort of echo, just filling the air, reverberating. Your bodies almost vibrate with the force of it, and it fades away. He comes soon. Yes, very soon.
Do you have a name?
Me? Yes, I am Lascaris.
Lascaris. Is it just your village that serves the librarian?
Here? Yes, just us.
Have you seen more like us?
No, just librarian.
Does the librarian look more like me or one of my friends here?
Like old him.
So the librarian is a older looking elf.
What type of elf?
Do you really think that they can discern the difference?
Ask him for a physical depiction.
You make things so difficult.
I do.
What does the librarian... He's on his way. What does the librarian look like?
Tall, old. Yes, older than me.
Yeah, that's about what I thought we'd get out of this one.
Pasty white or not? Is he a drow or is he not a drow?
That's a very good question. The librarian's skin, is it darker? Is it like this? Or is it more like this? I've been wearing armor for,
Here, high five.
No, like this. And he gestures to the inside of his own arm. It's like a golden, dark tan.
Alright.
Cool.
Potentially alright.
I was about to be mean to say like this, but
Nice.
I don't want to TPK.
You don't want to die, especially because They come. We show you our work. You tell. We show librarian when he gets here too. Good crop this year. Yes, very good.
Guys, they're offering to show us their crops.
I'm always interested in things that grow, including stories or lies, one of the two.
So they come, they gesture for you. He gets picked up in his chair again, and he leads like a parade, a procession of these halflings down to the other side of this hill, and you see little, like tiny little barns and little enclosures around each one, and you see in the grass, hopping around delicately on their little legs, a wide variety of colors of little fluffy rabbits.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Step on up, Solix. There's a white one over there.
There are, in fact, they seem to be divided sort of by color, a little bit by breed, almost variety. There are definitely some that are pure white, long, fluffy white hair. They're a little bit larger, bright red eyes that do seem to be hopping around. There are some that are more of a roan. I'm using force colors because it's what I know. With the black and white hair mixed together, the blue ones.
Oh, okay, yes.
And they do have like a very dark eye to them. From this distance, it's hard to get out more detail than that. There are some that are like almost a mossy brown color that seem to be hopping around. There are other enclosures a little bit more in the distance that are harder to see.
Do these people seem happy and enthralled, or is there this type of fear or this anxiety that overlays the
Make an
area?
insight check.
Please, Lord.
Can I look around for scorch marks on the fences and stuff?
Make a perception check.
9.
9?
I feel like we should have switched.
Would you know to do that?
I've been in the sanctum longer than you guys have.
Oh, this is true. You have heard stories.
Yeah!
Yes. You would have heard stories.
Fair enough.
That's not great.
They seem to be normal halflings, going about their day-to-day lives. They don't seem to be in any sort of anxiety or fear, nothing you pick up.
Modified 20.
Modified 20? Yeah, there are a number of little areas where the grass has been cleared away, where the fences are stonework or earth rather than grass.
I'm gonna put my arm out to my team and say, don't be alarmed.
Vocal bunnies?
Oh, you've met these, have you?
Oh, yes.
Not as personally as some.
Am I missing a story here?
It's fine.
Yes, you are.
We'll
discuss it over a
there
pint.
was, in the training area, there were bunnies. They breathe fire. Lots of fire.
Thanks for lit.
Oh God. So, please tell me that was not your challenge round for testing round from Tyrek.
It was not.
No.
Don't you worry.
You're lucky.
Those were tanky goblins.
I hate those.
What did you get? Gator squid?
No, mine was. I can't talk about it.
Was it the owlbear that flies?
No,
No,
no, that would have been. They were rodents of a very peculiar size.
Oh, interesting.
Sounds right.
Thank you.
Get off. That was awful.
Most people don't think they exist.
These are all for the librarian.
Do you translate?
Yes, I translate that.
Okay. Yes, we breed them here for the librarian. Yes.
Intriguing. Why?
He asks us to.
Never asked why he needs them?
Oh no. He comes, he harvests, he takes away the good ones and the worst ones, and we're left here. It is safe here. He provides food, shelter, plenty. We want for nothing. Our people are safe.
Do they look like they're like caveman people? Like what sort of?
It's a relatively rough civilization, and they live close to nature. They're obviously gardening and breeding these things. Like they're not.
I hate you so much right now.
you went in. I don't want to be here. I had stuff to do.
Yes.
This is so terrible.
At about this point, there is a tall figure that's being led by the hand of like 2 halflings reaching up and leading him, almost dragging him along, walking slowly around the hill and down. It is an elderly elven male. Long white hair, dark green robes tied with a silver belt around his waist. Pristine, very elegantly dressed.
Anybody I recognize?
No,
Okay.
you have not met him.
Look, just real quick, as he's approaching, any symbols or anything that would catch my attention?
Even a note.
Make a perception check.
Is that okay? Natural 18 plus 8, so
26. You do see a pendant, very similar to the shape of ones you're familiar with that you've seen for the last 2 years, that all of you have seen, but it's not a tree. There's a different symbol on his pendant.
I knew it.
Yes. I'll walk up and you said elf, right?
Yes.
And do a low bow, and I was gonna switch to Elvish, but he can understand me still.
Yes.
So for the next hour, everybody can understand me.
You've got another probably 40-45 minutes left on that.
And look over to him, and as he approaches, and say his blessing.
Be welcome to my home.
Um,
Please. Have I been summoned?
Well, that's rather a peculiar situation we find ourselves in. My compatriots and I, exploring a magic room, seem to have been teleported here with no way back.
Found the orb. I can tell. You had no expectation to be here, did you?
Nope.
Oh, Sanctum, yes?
Yes.
Be welcome. Let me show you out.
Yeah. What language is he speaking?
Elvish.
Okay. I'll translate for you guys.
He knows about the sanctum.
Or you can translate.
He says we're welcome. So.
And he also can show us a way out. Just out of curiosity, and I'll point down. Vorpal bunnies?
Indeed. My specialty. One of.
Out of curiosity, so does he have any, like, is his sanctum pendant glowing, like I was used to?
No, actually.
Okay.
Totally. He was another sanctum. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Would I know the name of his sanctum or the
Based on his title, you probably guess he's from the library.
Well, wait. Oh dear.
Oh, yes.
What
am I not getting?
So they're filling in my compatriots here. So did Owen ever tell you that there are more than one sanctum entities?
Got that. I don't remember that one. I don't know if I was there for that.
That's all right.
Was it?
I thought you were, but
they did a little bit.
Yes, this was early.
Okay, no, that Dorn was there. He wasn't. That was the day he missed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you didn't
So
get
I
that from
didn't
the
know.
Yeah, Dorn
Dorn
was there.
knows.
Dorn
knows
was
you
there,
not.
but yeah, that was the.
But I wasn't.
That was
Yes.
the one
But
day he
also,
missed.
That's okay.
she and I have had conversations.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the day he
So-
missed. Yep.
Yep. So,
I missed a day.
there are other sanctums that fulfill particular roles.
Aye.
And correct me if I misstate any of this. Welcome to the librarians. They are keepers of books, lores, and apparently, this is news to me, Vorpal bunnies.
Among other things. He switches at this point to common, seeing you translate, hearing you translate for those of you. Forgive me, I did not realize not all were versed in our speech.
I appreciate
Tongue
it.
spell.
You, yes. You seem to have found your way in. Please, shall I guide you out?
Yes, that would be nice.
Before we go though, we need to update you on the goings on because, quite frankly, yours could be next.
By all means, please.
Shall we walk and talk?
Let's. And he starts guiding you around the hills of the grassland.
That's my Rudy Tooty.
Toot magic flute.
He leads you to around a hill to a door that seems to be just set into the hillside. Doesn't look like there's anything actually behind it, but a rough wooden door that he puts his hand to, and it swings open, and he walks through.
All right, and as we're walking and talking, I basically fill him in on everything that's happened to our particular sanctum.
Okay.
Leaving out the traitor in the midst theory that we have.
And as we walk though, do I get a feel on this guy? Is he good? Like what's the jive that I'm getting off of him though?
Make an insight check.
Please be good. Insight, you say? Modified 20.
Modified 20? Yeah, why not? This will
Aha! This whisper brought to you by us.
Stuff.
And
We
knowing
like stuff.
things we don't
La,
know.
la, la, I can't hear them. I'm not cheating. La 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 la. I can't hear them, and I am cheating.
Right, but you cheetah.
Oh no!
I'll be a leopard. He can be a lion. Quetzalcoatl would be a house cat.
Okay.
Just pet him. He's happy.
Master Library.
Avinar, please.
Avinar. The room that we were in before this, a bunch of different doors. It looked like a room with the Zone of Truth.
You entered through the cathedral.
Cathedral, yes, that's the word I was looking for. What's his name?
Avinar.
Avinar.
Is that a part of your sanctum? What is that?
Well, I started on my pencil. It is part of the work that I do here. Did your leaders ever speak to you of how these entities are propagated? How they are born?
Was I ever told? I mean, I was only there for 2 years, so I don't expect to know everything.
Probably not. This is not something that happens very often. It is a rare event. And perhaps...
Nothing.
Okay. When a new inn sprouts, there's a seed that is formed, a small ball of energy, I suppose, is the closest you might come to describing it. It is full of potential, this new life, and it is usually born into the void, entirely detached, entirely without home or unrooted, you might say. This here is what you might call a jump start. When a sanctum seeds, when it begins to grow, it searches out new planes, new worlds. That is part of their life process, is to reach out and to sustain. What I have done here, what I have put together, this gift for a
a new being. His 50 little planes all connected, ready for it to consume, ready for it to attach to and grow and develop. All little bits of knowledge, little bits of information, and various little tastes of the worlds it might reach.
So
Just had to make vocal bites.
we were brought here via a spell from the private sanctum that was cast into an orb.
Oh yes, it is how we disguise the entrance.
Right.
So about that.
So the is this how do we if we get back? Does the spell go back into the orb? How is
Oh yes, it never actually left.
okay.
You just accessed it, and only really through the power of your pendants. There's a process those who attune to this orb go through before they are able to fully use it. Before they're able to come in, it's a bit uncomfortable for those who are not welcome here.
So when we get back the how would one close the door?
Oh, when you leave, it will be closed behind you. It shall be pulled back into the orb, as though you had never cast it in the first place.
Okay then.
What are the purposes of the different stained glasses? The one that brought us here, like the grassland, and the others
Oh, they're doorways.
to the different planes.
A number of them, yes.
The arcane doorway, where does that go?
Oh, that leads to the laboratory, I do believe.
Interesting.
Is there any way to retrieve my pet from there?
Certainly. I could detour you through there on your way out if you would like.
That would be lovely.
Very well. Follow me. And from where he had led you through the door into the hillside, you had emerged into. Let me pull this up.
Like being seasick. There is no solid ground to stand on. None whatsoever.
What you had emerged into was a room. Okay, I need my pencil for this.
Just no, it's
Kind of burnt.
It's gone. No trees.
That's like having a
Right. You'd emerged into a room with a pool of water, and this is smaller than the cathedral, about half the size. And there had been a wall of names.
And this is the arcane room?
No, this is the room you had come into. You're about to detour around to the arcane room.
This is the cathedral.
Avanar gestures for silence, generally, as he leads you around the wall and pulls a certain stone out, twists it, pushes it back into the wall, and then the wall drops.
Oh, that's so cool.
I was watching which stone that was.
Okay, so if you ever come back, he leads you from there through. Oh gosh, where did this go? I'll show you a brief glance at the map later. I'm pretty pleased with how it came out, if I do say so myself. Before you walk through, he warns you, be cautious with this one. If you are caught unawares, you may be caught up in the illusion. Remember, it is not real. And he walks into the room.
Okay.
You walk in, you follow him in, and actually I'm going to go ahead and have everyone roll another wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I'm right next to him.
Oh yeah, y'all are all within 10 feet, so you get your +4.
Prepared?
So,
Wait, you said +4, right?
So I got 17.
32.
32.
17.
17.
25.
25.
Modify 20.
Modify 20.
17.
17. The two of y'all fail.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, good. And what means that?
Doran,
Yeah.
you go in, you walk in, and you see a cavern. You see a very familiar cavern. You glance behind you, there's a tunnel.
And I'm immediately not happy.
You walk in, you see pristine gems surrounding you. We'll pause you there. Halberd. You see...
That's what I get for divulging backstory.
A little bit. Not just you. You see a fiery wreck.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
A village in flames. Burning down around you. The rest of y'all, you walk into this room and it is a square stone room. Door on one side, you just walked through. Door on the other. Avanar is already most of the way through the room. Your two companions have frozen. What do you do?
Are they just, okay, the type of effect, is it a fear effect or a charm effect?
Yes, please. Because I have advantage on being charmed.
It's an illusion.
Okay.
Not necessarily a fear or charm effect. It's just they are caught in it. They don't realize. It's so startling to them seeing their worst memory, their darkest moment sort of brought to life, that they just freeze.
You said it's an illusion?
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
That moment when you're like, cool, what spells and how do?
Yeah. Dang it, I can't use that one. Oh, yes, I can. I can upcast it. Dispel magic.
Okay.
You gonna break the room?
He's gonna try.
No, it's you choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range.
So you're gonna try to break the magical
So
effect.
you have to choose the effect that is.
He can focus the effect on the creature. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
So, and
I'm
I'm
gonna go
casting.
ahead and allow that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast this at 4th level because I don't have any 3rd level spell slots left.
Okay.
Um.
Who are you targeting?
I'm whichever one's closer to me.
Who are you closer to?
I was walking with Elf Boy, the Avanar, or whatever his name, Alvin.
Avanar. Yes.
Alvin it is.
Alvin, Simon, and Theodore.
Right. So just step back, I guess, to Halberd and dispel magic.
Okay. 4th level.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll. Add your spellcasting modifier.
Okay.
What'd you get?
19.
Success. You feel a hand on your shoulder, Halberd. You blink. Snap out of it. You see a square stone room, your friends around you, Avanar at the door, sort of looking back like, what's taking so long? Behind you, Doran is still frozen.
Avanar can only do that once.
I grab Doran and I dimension door to the door with him.
Okay. You feel a hand grab your shoulder. There's a brief whoosh as you are taken through a dimension door.
Okay.
Make another wisdom saving throw.
You're not near me now.
3.
You blink. You're further into this cavern. You look around. You see your old friends, the other miners around you.
I was just dimensioning him to the door and pushing.
All right, you head on through. As you feel this push behind you, you jolt out. Where'd it go? It's gone. You're not there anymore.
Cool. Downright creepy.
Well, that room is boring.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking. Very, very boring.
I don't want to go back there.
Nope.
Don't
How
think
about we
anybody does. Be
What
glad you had a
stupid pet are we
guide.
finding?
You emerge into
a large room, multiple tables. Okay, that's obnoxious now. You see there are little workstations set up. Some tend to be more geared towards various alchemy. Some are have books and scrolls written on it as though they're in the middle of being transcribed or copied. Some of them are entirely blank. There's a lot of preparation and a lot of potential here. And then you get to the other side where the desks have been cleared, and inscribed into the floor is a small silver circle. There are various lines and symbols, different sigils carved into it. Who's proficient in Arcana? Okay. The two of you recognize this as a ritual space where the lines and everything that has been prepared here make it easier, make it simpler for rituals to be done here, to be performed. So various things can be enchanted here, various things can be summoned here, and it's already prepared to function in that way.
How hard would it be to sketch that out?
Fairly difficult, especially if you don't have any experience working with magical symbols already.
Would I don't have proficiency with Arcana, but would I recognize any of it from what I've been learning?
Not as much. These tend to be more arcane symbols. The symbols of your family, your runes, are more from the giants, giantish in origin.
Cool. Okay.
So it's a laboratory, a workstation.
This is the arcane room?
This is the arcane room. And you don't see him immediately off the bat, but you go ahead and you summon him to you.
Communicate, yeah.
Yeah, you do in fact communicate with him. As soon as you make that contact, he scurries out from under one of the desks and runs over to you.
I give him a hug and probably do one damage. You know.
No, you don't squeeze quite that hard.
Can we go home? Or at least to his home world?
Home is fluid at this point.
Can we just
not
get
be
back
here?
to where we were, please?
Anything? I don't know.
Say that one more time.
Are we allowed to take anything from here?
I would rather you not. Truly, I do wish this space to be prepared. I have spent centuries gathering this and preparing this, and would very much like it to be ready. When you get out, you'll find very little time has passed.
Sweet.
Very good.
Do visit again if you need my assistance.
So it's
right this way.
cast the ball, go through, we'll come back to the cathedral every time?
No.
No.
You came through the cathedral this time. There are 3 potential open spaces, and don't wander without a guide.
Right. How do we summon you once we get back in? If we come back in.
Bring the gong. Right this way.
Okay.
And he leads you to a fireplace. He pulls a lever, candlestick on top, just pulls down, pushes up. The fireplace spins on an axis.
Yes! I'm into this so much.
Why does she even have that?
That's the gong lever.
That would have been funny.
You emerge onto the dais behind the altar in the cathedral. You see it spread open before you.
Nice. Is there a way to do that in reverse from this side?
If you know the key. Right this way. And he comes out and heads to the back wall. Blank wall, the only wall without any stained glass on it. And he presses a series of stones in order, and then it seems like the wall just sinks.
Nice.
You don't see it slide down, but there's like a rippling effect where it almost not quite dissolves, not quite just drops, but something of that nature. You are free to leave. Thank you for your time.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you. And let us go.
I'm going to walk out and find my note.
You do walk out. You do find your note.
I'm very quickly behind him.
Yeah, we are.
Solix,
Thank you for your
I'll
time.
join you in a moment.
Leave him in there.
I'd actually like to spend a little bit with Alvin, and and have a further conversation regarding the attack on the sanctum. And
Indeed, you had mentioned. Has your sanctum in fact fallen?
Owen, our keeper, our partner, it looks like he may have sacrificed himself to allow the sanctum to go into hibernation.
Foolish decision, but very well. Has your sanctum chosen a new partner yet?
We have not been able to return to the sanctum. We scattered. By the time we got everyone out, the sanctum was on the verge of falling. We put it into hibernation, grabbed the journals, the keys, and scattered them to the few worlds that were not under attack. Myself, one of the keepers and residents, and a few other runners were given the task of protecting these journals. But during the fall to the planet, we all lost control and were separated.
It sounds as though your sanctum desired those journals to be scattered.
Seems so. We have managed so far to recover 2 of the 4 I was given. We know where the location of the 3rd is and hope to find the 4th rather quickly.
As well you should.
Once we find them, how do we reopen the portal?
Well, you have your keys. He gestures towards your pendant. Take it to where you last knew a portal to be. Gather the coordinates. Your sanctum should reach out. It should still be attuned to both you and the journals, and if it likes you, it will open the doorway.
That could prove tricky. The sanctum and I never had wasn't a terrible relationship, but I was never her favorite.
You don't need to be her favorite to be her partner.
Fair enough.
And truly, to gain the full benefit of your work, you should attempt to be the first one back.
That would be...
A partner of the sanctum is a danger to them all.
I was worried about that. I know that in our sanctum, at least, the Lyran was our next best partner.
I am familiar with Miss Lyran.
I know where she'll be, but not quite how to get to her yet. Other than to get the journals and reopen the portals. But you mentioned birthing new sanctums. Is that something anyone can do? Or is there a process?
Oh, it's a very long process. As I said, I've spent centuries preparing this for a seed.
Do you expect one soon, or do they happen at random?
It's been some centuries. We are due one soon. Well, Sanctum is probably too young. The library perhaps might spawn anew. The archive, maybe. No. He sort of mumbles to himself and trails off into thought. Any other questions?
Is there a way for us to contact you outside of the orb?
No. It is designed to be entirely self-sustained. It is safe here.
Good to know. Well, I appreciate all your help.
You have an excellent day also.
Let your sanctums know and any others you can reach out to be on the lookout. And I'll go through and explain how the sanctum, how the keepers were attacked and systematically
Real quick
killed.
for me, just before we get too far into this and I forget again, roll another wisdom saving throw for Zone
Oh.
of Truth.
Oh, that's only a 12.
Okay, so yes, you are compelled to tell the truth.
You have advantage on those, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. That is a 23.
Okay, so you do succeed.
Not that I'm trying to lie or anything, but but the keepers of our sanctum were systematically killed, and the portals were closed down one by one. Not entirely sure why, but there may have been a traitor in our midst.
Organizations, even sanctums, fall far more often to subterfuge than they do to outside force. If you suspect a traitor, you're probably right.
That's fair. This one was unfortunately here for a very short time. Received his key, his pendant, and then disappeared. So my thought is that maybe he took the time to get there, get access, and then return to his master.
It is entirely possible.
So just something for all the other sanctums to be aware of.
I will endeavor to make sure they know to the fullest extent of my ability.
Appreciate that. Also, not a big fan of the Forble bunnies, but they are alive.
They are a marvelous defense system.
That is true. Well, you have yourself a good day, and we hope to see you again.
I can't tell if that's true or not.
Boom!
Inside check.
Are you in there? Or are you doing that on the
No,
show?
you left and got your note.
If you want to know, I bet he could tell.
So you go ahead and head on out.
Mm-hmm.
You do head on out. You emerge almost stumbling into the group of your friends who have not moved very far at all from where they exited this portal. You glance behind you. The cube has disappeared. The orb is on the ground.
So the orb didn't come through with me?
Nope.
Okay.
Pick it up, hand it to you.
So I cast it and it was in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I held on to it, but when I walked through, it just dropped. It dropped, I guess? Okay.
It did not come through with you.
Okay. Cool. Well,
good to know.
This is where it's interesting. I'll put it back in the bag. Where I've been keeping it.
All right.
That was fun.
It's the first time I've ever been there. I've heard stories, but that was the first.
It's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have things to do today. We should probably get to them.
No.
So y'all go ahead, you gather yourselves up, and you prepare for the rest of your day. And that is where we are going to end the session.
This is fun!
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
We
man,
did it!
guy.
You didn't die.
Huzzah!
This is crazy.
No joke.
So much.
I did not expect y'all to be going in there yet.
Yeah, well.
If ever.
I need to figure out what's going on.
Oh, now we know what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Know how it works. Cool. So.
Alright. Well,
Alright. We will go ahead and we will catch y'all at our next adventure. That was a really good session today, guys.
That was fun.
Thank you for joining us, for tuning in. As you go through about the
That's all, folks.
Apparently I lose my ability to talk after running these things. As you go throughout this week, just remember to be kind to each other. Y'all have a good one.